God damn it, Jeff. Name one thing that you've done that says you're trying to figure out the puzzle pieces.
Yeah. I'm nervous on the surface, I look fine. My brain feels heavy, my traumatized mind. And I'm so tired, I can't feel my eyes. Whoa, whoa. I'm petty, but I know how to lie. I feel feelings that I can't describe. I'm not breathing, but I'm still alive. Whoa, whoa. But I think I'll be alright, 'cause I'm not giving up, I'm not giving up yet. I feel that it's my time, so I'ma give it everything. I'ma give it everything I got. So I'ma give it everything. I'ma give it everything I got. I'ma give it everything. I'ma give it everything I got. Still have hope. So many days have passed. I wait around for things to change, but change has not come fast. I'm asking all the questions, but then I question them. Like, what's the point of living, existing when you can't see a God in flesh? I'm looking for the answers, they say to pray instead. I think I'll find them one day, but with a helping hand. I know that it's not easy, but I believe I will. Yeah, I'll get over all my fears and really conquer everything. I think I'll be alright, 'cause I'm not giving up, I'm not giving up yet. I feel that it's my time, so I'ma give it everything. I'ma give it everything I got. So I'ma give it everything. I'ma give it everything I got. I'ma give it everything. I'ma give it everything I got.
Here we go. Welcome to the freak show, the best in town.
What is going on, Hive? I hope everybody had a great Monday. Make sure I got the audio. Oh, yeah. We are loud and clear. Loud and clear. And Devil's Advocates is backstage. We have a great one lined up for you all this evening, per usual. Always love having Devil's Advocates here on Monday nights. Crowd says the intro had Bob's Burgers dancing. Thought I was maybe a little bit of a DJ in the beginning too, adding my own little intro. But nonetheless, super excited to be here in the Hive this evening, and we're going to talk about this manic energy that seems to consume people who have the mob mentality. This desperate need to belong, but only on the side that's cool. You know, everything that the mainstream news chants, tries to cancel, smear. You guys know the people. This manic mob mentality that it's very predictable who's going to be a part of that. This evening, I'm going to show you guys a clip that ties into pretty much what this entire channel represents. Mind-blowing. Absolutely mind-blowing. And it doesn't have to do with the Idaho 4, but at the same time, it does. So I'm not trying to be super cryptic in how I say that. I just want you guys to see it and hear it for the first time without me giving too much about it away. But this literally represents everything that the Hive stands for when it comes to, or at least my motivation on why I wanted to start a channel. And that is to call out the mainstream media lies, to see through the narrative, and to help other people wake up to it. Because when you see something like this, you should ask yourself, okay, well, we've been saying that for a very long time. And now the mainstream media is switching their position on it. Why? Why are you guys saying this right now? Your spidey senses start to go off whenever that happens. So that's what we're going to be getting into tonight. We'll tie it all in a bow. And now I want to go ahead and say what's up to everybody. Miss Jess, that's absolutely right. People can't wake up alone. We are ORE. Says everyone's afraid to go against the mainstream narrative. Also, I have your email on my to-do list. We are ORE, just so you know. And I've not forgotten. Brandon Ruder says mass formation psychosis, aka the Grace effect. Ree. LA Mike says it's another manic Monday. UFO Dog says the like button's looking pretty hot. If I were you, I would hit that. Meow. What the hell? What's up, Caleb and Terry, Stone? Christina finally caught a live on time. That's awesome. Happy to have you here. Is this anybody else's first time tuning in? We will welcome you with open arms. What's up, Wolfpack? Twine and Toucans. Brian Todd says mildly Monday night, manic energy. Love that. What's up, Laura? Discord Dawn. Luna. 1-1, good to see you. ATL Drew. What's going on, brother man? Davina Duvall, how are you doing? Mitty Witty, Essie. Jojo. Dina, Constance, Carrie. Jody. What's up, Adrian? Zoa. Ariana. I always forget. Is it Ariana? Ariana? I'll just switch off every time I say it. What's up, Gabby girl? Savvy Rooster. Gary King, first live for today. Well, welcome. If this is your first time tuning in and you're somebody that's easily rattled or offended on behalf of others, it's probably not going to be the live stream for you. But if you like to look into things, like I was saying, you question the narrative, maybe you're known as the conspiracy theorist in your friend group, then you have found your people and you are amongst friends. We're happy to have you. What's going on, Criminal Minds? Matilda, Elizabeth, Rihanna, Brooke, how are you doing? Court, Noel, UK Karen, Nurtured, April Seeks Justice, Lisa Stewart, Amanda B from West Virginia. I don't know if I already did that. Doesn't hurt to do it twice. What up, Stacy? Cheryl, Donna, tuning in from Australia. Bridget says this is the first stream they're able to make. Again, welcome. Welcome to the Hive. What's up, Miss Governor Pincus? Sandra, good to see you. Jody. Gary King says they drive the conspiracy bus. This might be the first ever top dog to a new member of the Hive within 5 minutes of being live, but I can already tell that we like Gary King. He's our bus driver of the conspiracy bus. Wave Ether, you want a clown horn of shame. Why? I'll do it, but that's also a first. I've never had anybody actually asked to get clown horned. And I think that also says a lot about somebody. The opposite. Like, Wave Ether's into some messed up stuff. That's what I can tell about that. Oh, man. Well, that is... Rachel's just buzzing in. Yeah, you have to earn that horn. I love it. I love it. What up, Muck and Fuss? Kim's tuning in from Kentucky. Well, nonetheless, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to bring up Devil's Advocates. Here he is. What's up, dude?
What's going on, man?
How's life?
Good to see you again. Pretty good. Not bad.
Yeah.
I changed out mugs. I don't have the gigantic soup mug, but it is still not coffee, bitch. So, there's that. but it's not the coffee. It's not the soup bowl.
Dude, I know you got like the Devil's Advocates hoodies. You need to just get a t-shirt that says "It's not coffee, bitch," and have your little bobblehead right here on it.
I love our communities because my Discord channel has been flooded with people making AI images of me in that same mug and the phrase "This is not coffee, bitch." They've been doing that to me all over my Discord channel and the bobblehead like and that shit.
Oh, yeah. It's amazing. No, there's some talented like AI artists between
it's
both our channels. Shit. It's awesome. And I just want to make sure real quick.
Yeah.
Is my audio coming in equal when DA talks? Can I just ask that? Because when I redid my settings after I had my crash out when Kelly was on with my audio, I just want to make sure it's equal.
I have to say, by the way, somebody just asked if I'm not watching the game. I was in the middle of watching the Mariner game. Mariners were up 6-3. Do not tell me the freaking score because I do not know how the game's ending. I'm hoping to watch it afterwards. If somebody blows it for me, like somebody inevitably does, especially when I tell them not to, so be it. I'll live with it. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm all over that. I had to put it on hold. See, Birdie, you're so important. I put away fucking game 2 of the ALCS with my Mariners, never having been to the World Series and on the verge of going. Well, not on the verge. They got a couple more games to pull off, but I put that away for you, man.
I love that. I love that. You see Matrix says, we going to get DA a clear water bottle. Thank you for the super chat. DA, speaking of people, not, so you're saying, if somebody was to blurt out the score and kind of almost like ruin this anticipation and the surprise, right? You wouldn't like it. You'd be like, no. Damn, why? Does that sound familiar at all?
I mean, it happens a lot,
but specifically one of the times that you were here on the Hive when I'm like, I have a life-changing event that I really can't say.
Dude, I immediately tried to backpedal from that, and I literally didn't know, but I was like, oh fuck, like that's probably it, isn't it?
Yeah, because DA's like, your wife's pregnant. I'm like, well, okay.
Dude, I feel so bad.
No,
I feel so bad. I literally, my mouth sometimes moves way faster than my brain, and that was one of those moments.
Yeah, no, I'm just giving you shit. But no, we were talking a little bit before. So next Monday, you're going to be out of town. You're going to be out in New York. So Monday, I'll be flying solo. I have some really exciting guests that might pop in next Monday if we can work it out. But nonetheless, they're going to be on the show either way. And you guys are really going to like them. The other thing that we talked about is kind of what I have as the theme, which is why does mind control feel so good? And it's very interesting, and how I was kind of talking about this manic energy in the mob and this desperate need to belong to the quote good side. It's very interesting how those people, I don't understand how you can go through even the school and the curriculum that's been hijacked and think to yourself, wow, people that made history, people that actually got the world, headed on the right path, they just went along with what they were told to go along with, right? That's right. Worked out, right? Like, is this their weird, how can I say it? Ever since COVID, it seems like who's the best rule follower? I'm better than you because I follow rules better. Or I'm more aware of the system that we play this game within, and therefore I'm better than you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. It's freaking sad. And like I said, I mean, I was a student of psychology. People, we're social animals, and we want to be accepted by if I were to put, I don't like to do this, but if you were to put it in evolutionary terms, right, getting kicked out of the tribe meant certain death. If you get kicked out of the tribe and you have to fend for yourself, you die. You're going to starve to death. You need other people, the hunters, to help gather food and all this with that. And so if you get kicked out of the tribe, you die. And so, from an evolutionary standpoint, I think they would say we're pack animals. We need the collective. Oh, power to the collective. And so there's that mentality of it's safer for us to not get kicked out of the tribe. So it's sad, unfortunately, because it does lead to just basically groupthink and brainwashing and all that good stuff. But
yeah, and now it's kind of it's the opposite, where you're, instead of getting kicked out of the tribe, like to an extent, you're just canceled on the internet. You lose your job and you lose your livelihood, and people go and say and call you whatever buzzwords that they could think of.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. One of the most satisfying things, and I'm not trying to sound like an asshole here, but one of the most satisfying things that you can see is, especially on a mainstream level, when you have to see somebody change their position. And they have to, and the people that do it right, they come away better. But then the people that do it a little bit shamefully, that's where it's kind of like, damn, that's kind of satisfying to see, because you were doing this to everybody. You were shaming people. You were using this massive platform to shame people. And I'm not saying that I want anybody to experience that or feel like that, but it's kind of, if you're going to do that, sometimes you're going to reap what you sow when it comes to the like social dynamic of it, right? Being liked or being on the good side, as I was saying, there's a point of diminishing return, because people can see through it. When you're just going to go along with what's trendy and you start flip-flopping back and forth, well, then what ends up happening? You also end up losing people that used to like you. So you can't please everybody. And the sooner that people understand that, the happier you're going to be, the better your life's going to be. I'm sure your relationships will be better. You might meet people that you never thought you'd meet, right? And it's the sooner you understand that, I think, honestly, the world, if everybody could, it would just be a better place. You know?
Yeah, I think, like I said, I think in our country, it'd be great if we can start to get into the point where we can disagree respectfully with each other, because it's so much right now. It's like you have to pick a side, and most people pick the side of the popular thing. And but anyways, we got some pretty cool people. I mean, you were talking earlier, by the way, just to digress, because I'm sure it's not on the point necessarily, but about the person who changes their mind. One of the best things I love is when someone is kind of like dug in, and then they finally see something that changes their mind, and they're like, you know what? I was freaking wrong. And I love watching people humble themselves and say, I was wrong. I'm rethinking about this. And sometimes I feel a way stronger connection to the person who started out in opposition and then had the courage to say, fuck, I was wrong. I shouldn't have been that way. I'm an asshole. Eating crow. Yeah. Yeah.
But would you also agree the delivery of that? I would argue that the delivery of that is equally as important, right? Yeah. How you're going to deliver saying you're wrong matters.
Yeah.
And I think you're spot on. You do end up feeling a closer sense, a bond with them or a bind with them, especially if it's like one of your buddies or, it's very interesting. Like, I feel like whenever you would see, like back in college, whenever I would see, a little bar scuffle break out, the amount of times that you would see guys fight and then be like hugging it out, or like,
right.
By the end of the night, they're hanging out together. I don't know if it's a guy thing, but it just seems like you're closer.
It's the best thing. It's the best. It's the best. It's like you're pissed off each other. You go to trade blows and you're like, dude, we
I love you, bro.
You're like, I know. It's like, it touches my soul. I love that shit.
It's like, hit me, kiss me. Yeah. I hate you. I love you.
Hit me, kiss me. Did we just go sideways? I think we just went sideways.
Anyway, well, it happened pretty quickly, and that's all right. That's to be expected. And so I just want to real quick plug the channel. And if you guys have not hit that like button or the subscribe button, please do. Just take 5 seconds right now. You just got to pull down the chat, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I don't put anything behind a paywall, so the like and subscribing and helping to reach more people that think like us, and they're maybe probably looking for a place like the Hive where they can come in here, they can hang out, they can look forward to it each night if they don't have, their buddies or family that they can talk to like this. We want to reach those people. We want to grow the Hive. And I'd really appreciate that, as well as the mods also have a tip link. That's how little I've looked into the whole super chat and monetization thing of it. I didn't know YouTube takes all of the money. Like a huge percent. So there's a tip link. If you guys do feel so kind, obviously I'm never going to go and ask you guys for the money, but that is going to be in the chat, so that they are not spamming with that. We are aware of it. And then I was going to say, DA, where can people find you? I forgot to put that slide up tonight. My bad.
Where can they find me?
I'll do this.
Facebook, Twitter/X, Discord, Substack. Mostly that my handles are Devil's Advocates 2024, like on YouTube, TikTok, a channel. By the way, as an aside, thank you for putting that up, ma'am.
Yep.
As an aside, I was talking to Ali Benevento, who has been making great strides on TikTok. And I've been convinced for like 6 months on TikTok, I have never grown past 8,600 followers. And I'm like, there's no way. Like every day I see new people following my account on TikTok, and my number never changes from 8,600, give or take a few.
I've noticed that too.
Right. And so Allie sent me a message. She goes, well, apparently I've been suppressed because my account's not growing past 8,600. And I'm like, well, shit, welcome to the club. I don't know what it is, but some people apparently, due to the almighty shadow banning suppression thing, they've decided a certain channel is only going to grow so far. I mean, that sounds arrogant, right? Like I should be a bigger deal on TikTok, but really Allie was saying the same thing. She's like, what happened? My account just stopped at like 8,600. I'm like, they've got some kind of restriction or throttle on you and said, that's only the bigger you're going to get. So it sucks, but I don't know how I got off on that tangent. But.
No, but in general, I think what you just said though, it's interesting because the algorithm, and I'm not talking from a creator standpoint, I'm talking about what we consume. Okay. It's a pleasure algorithm. Right. It's meant to release dopamine. You got to remember these apps, these news organizations, these people, they want you to stay on their product, their interface. So they're going to show you things that you like. Well, at a certain point, if you're only seeing the same thing, wouldn't that be a detriment to you after a certain point? I know for me, I would hate that. I refresh my FYP a lot, but I know other people like Mrs. Birdie, she's like, no, I've built that shit brick by brick. I only see what I want to see. And I'm like, see, I couldn't do that. You know what I mean? I couldn't do that. But no, to your point, I mean, who knows? I'd like to think that, you know, in general with social media, I think you got to just focus on doing what you like. And if it happens and people tune in and they like it, great. You know, I think a lot of people get caught up, and I'm not saying you are, but I think a lot of people get caught up in it, which is ultimately the opposite of what social media should be, right? Like social media rather quickly over the last 5 to 7 years has become your followers and your subscribers are a reflection of your own internal gratitude towards yourself or something. And I think it's wrong. I think it's toxic. I think a lot of people fall victim to that. And it's influential though. So from the media standpoint, they know when they see people with X amount of followers, it's like, there's a lot of creators. There's a lot of smaller podcasts. They blow the mainstream numbers out of the water. Right. And it's remarkable that the mainstream media still holds that much power and that stronghold on people's brains for how they receive information. And unless the mainstream news says it, well, then we can't believe it. And,
right.
You know, that actually leads me into this, DA. I don't know if you've seen this. I want to know why the mainstream media is now saying this with Jeffrey Epstein. Okay, this aired probably a day or two ago, maybe a little bit longer. This is insane. It's a 2-minute clip. You guys are going to be mind blown that this is coming from CBS. Okay, CBS. And like I said in the intro, it's great. We've known this, but now I'm wondering, why are you telling us this? Why are you telling us this right now in this manner? Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and play this.
We're going to turn now to a CBS News exclusive, an investigation related to the death of convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. CBS News has obtained 90 jail cell photos from the day Epstein was found dead, some of which have never before been seen publicly. Scott McFarland joins us now from Washington with more on this. Scott, what's in the photos? Good morning.
Hey, Tony, good morning. The photos were taken by New York's Office of Chief Medical Examiner, and they raise more questions than they answer. Epstein's body was removed before investigators arrived in Epstein's cell, experts say.
Okay, I can't do it. I can't listen. I'm going to play it. It's only 2 minutes. First of all, they raise more questions than answers.
Yeah.
Oh, you think?
Well,
you think?
And you're right. Like, This pisses me off so much. Like, why now? Why now? After all this time, are you going to do, hey, guess what? Maybe he didn't kill himself. It raises more. Yeah, no shit. People have been saying that since the day it happened, because we're not morons. We're not idiots. We knew that that the guy just didn't decide to, or that the guards didn't decide to go for a walk and the cameras all malfunctioned and he happened to kill himself at that exact moment. No one in America bought that shit. And well, okay, some people did, but in my opinion, most of us didn't buy that shit. And now they're like, hey, guess what? Surprise. Maybe it's not what we thought it was. Fuck, half of us didn't think it happened that way anyways.
I can't stand, you know what you're saying? How you said, I don't know anybody that bought that. No, you know what? And I can tell you that there are people that bought it, and it's people who sound like this when they say it, but they're like, well, you know, I mean, it kind of makes sense. Like what? Like, it's not that deep, dude. Like he was in prison for a long time. I mean, people do that. And I just look at it. I look at them and I'm like, I'm so glad I don't have your brain. I can't imagine living life with your brain because I would hate it. It just seems very boring in general. And I'm just like, I'm looking at you and I'm like, I just heard what you said about, well, of course. Yeah. People, unalive themselves in prison, but do you realize,
telling you, by the way, I'm sure you know this, but the reason, the rhetorical question I asked isn't really rhetorical, which is why now? Why now?
Yeah.
Because it's related to Charlie Kirk. It's related to the pushing of the Epstein files being released. And now all of a sudden people are asking questions about Epstein again. And they're like, maybe Epstein didn't kill himself. And maybe there's something being hidden in this country. But anyways.
Miss Maggie goes, we should be proud that we're not dipshits. Absolutely.
Before I forget, by the way, I hate to do this before I forget, because it's your show and I don't want to say this, but while you're talking, I've been seeing some people dropping some gifts on me for money and stuff like that. And Donna and Amanda on my side gave me some gifts. So I just wanted to say thank you so much for that. Like, if I don't acknowledge those, it's because Birdie's talking. It's Birdie's show. I'm just a guest on his show and I don't want to interrupt, but I just want to make sure you guys know I do see those and I love the support. So thank you so much for that. Thanks for letting me have that moment.
No, of course, dude. Of course. So not only is this guy saying, well, they raise more questions than answers. He goes, oh, and we find out now that Jeffrey Epstein's body was gone before the investigators got there. Okay. Do you guys realize this? This is what I mean. This CBS. Oh my God. This is groundbreaking news. And as much as I joke around about that, on a real note, it's remarkable they're saying it. And think of how stupid this entire thing is, that this is their investigative report. This is their special. It's that Jeffrey Epstein raises more questions than answers. And wow, his body was gone before investigators got there. Maybe there is something nefarious. Like,
congratulations. And here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. My mind goes to this. The media is controlled. So if the media is now going to start saying, hey, maybe it wasn't a murder, maybe there's more questions than answers, what that means to me is somebody has allowed them to talk about it. That's the reason they're talking about it, because they're finally allowed to talk about it. So then I have to ask the question, why are they suddenly allowed to talk about it? Because they were repeating the narrative the whole time. Oh, it's just a pedophile who grew a conscience. He didn't want to go to prison. He was going to get the shit beat out of him in prison because he's a pedophile, which pedophilia is not what he was actually doing. But the point being is that was the narrative, right? And so now all of a sudden, if the narrative's changing, they're going to start saying, maybe he didn't kill himself. Then you have to ask yourself, who took the gloves off? Who took the chains off the media to allow them to now talk about it? Because now I want to know what's changed.
Somebody said CBS got a new owner, which I'll look into that in a second, but I'll let the rest of this play here.
Should have been treated as a crime scene.
Oh my God. See, I can't.
Epstein's body was removed before investigators arrived. In Epstein's cell, experts say, should have been treated as a crime scene. And by all appearances, it was not.
On the morning of August 10th, 2019, convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein was found dead at the Metropolitan Correctional Center in Lower Manhattan. This was the vow of then Attorney General Bill Barr.
We will get to the bottom of what happened, and there will be accountability.
Epstein's death was quickly ruled a suicide. But an investigation of jail cell photos by CBS News, working with forensic experts, has raised serious questions about the New York medical examiner and the FBI's work, including a failure to preserve the scene.
Can somebody tell me? Can somebody just tell me too? Is that a normal standard issue of whatever the hell all those things are?
How many garments is he allowed to have in his room?
I mean, for God's sakes, it's like, I understand maybe a little bit of special treatment for certain prisoners that you're terrified of or whatever. Not saying that Jeffrey Epstein deserved it by any means, but you know what I mean? Maybe get an extra, a bag of chips, maybe an extra toothpaste thing. He's got enough sheets in there. I mean, I don't even know what he's doing in there, but that doesn't look normal.
To
85
avoid
blankets. Yeah.
To avoid prosecution, I will say that this is my opinion. That motherfucker did not hang himself.
No, just wait till you
He
hear.
was flat out
the rest of
murdered.
this. Yeah. Or somebody said those are, Mr. Smixon said those are shirts. Regardless, I mean, it just seems crazy. Don't you switch out,
Right.
Who knows? But here, I'll play the rest of it and then we can dive into it. Thank you so much, Silver Springs, for the $10 tip. Appreciate you.
But just the tip.
Just the tip.
Yeah.
Probably the only time that I'm okay with saying that. And that's not meant to be spun even more than it should have. Okay.
Log evidence and run basic forensic tests. There are 90 photos in all, showing a cell strewn with blankets and strips of fabric tied to the bed and window grate. Items moved around, including a mattress, which is seen on the floor in an earlier photo, but appears on the bed in a later one. Looking at the metadata, that second photo appears to have been taken at 11:02 a.m. If that's accurate, the scene had been disturbed hours before FBI investigators arrived. Investigators also found several possible nooses, but did not conclusively identify the one that killed him.
What do you make of all these pictures?
I make a crime scene gone wrong.
Herman Weisberg is a former NYPD detective turned private investigator.
Does it look to you like this was investigated as a suicide or as a murder?
To me, this looks like they took it at face value that this was a suicide.
While our investigation did not contradict the official determination of suicide, it does raise questions about what was done to rule out the possibility of murder.
If you realize that you've got a high-profile person that may or may not have committed suicide, but you need to prove that to people, this is not adequate as far as I'm concerned.
We've reached out to the Office of the Chief Medical Examiner, as well as former and current staff involved in the investigation, the FBI and the Department of Justice. All declined to comment, or Tony simply did not respond.
I think they're probably talking behind the scenes, Scott.
Well, yeah. So two things. When I said earlier that this could relate to the Idaho 4, we were talking last night, DA, on it's like, well, what do we do with that case? And we need help. Okay, I think Pav put out a video, and I absolutely agree with him that people like us are only going to be able to get so far, and it has a lot to do with just busting into this fluoridated mass population that we have that watch the news and they can't think, right? They need to see CBS. They need it delivered to them still to believe that, which is crazy, but it's the reality that we're still in. And that cop, that NYPD cop, that private investigator, assuming that he stays alive, and I'm saying that not even joking, for investigating this, right? That would be a good dude to probably be the expert investigator. He's saying these cops took this at face value. So I'm not sure if there's a way to get in touch with that guy, or if he takes on a bunch of cases. Not that the Epstein thing probably wouldn't be the only thing you have the bandwidth for, but somebody like that,
I feel like I'm not going to be able to do this without dropping an enormous F-bomb, but one of the things
got the green light.
Okay, that's good. So what bothers me is, this is the thing. A lot of people will say, Jeffrey Epstein killed himself. It's an open and shut case. It was obvious. You're a crazy conspiracy theorist. And then something will shift. CBS News will come out and start to soften it. Hey, maybe it should have been investigated as a crime scene. Later on, if it comes out that maybe that was a murder, then people will be like, oh yeah, I think that too. And I want to say, fuck off. Where were you when you were busting my nuts? Where were you when you were busting my nuts telling me I'm a fucking conspiracy theorist? But now that you've been given permission because you're a pussy and you had to get permission from the CBS, then now all of a sudden, I think that too. Fuck off. I don't even want to have you on my... Anyways, I said it was going to be an F-bomb, dude.
Oh, yes. Christ. I can only imagine somebody's watching this just trying to have a nice dinner with their family. They have a 7-year-old that's just trying to eat their chicken nuggets right now.
Why 7-year-old? No, I'm not kid friendly. I can't even put a viewer discretion is advised sticker on the corner like I do on some of my other videos. Sorry about that. I really do get pissed off when people do the, I think that too now. And I'm like, funny, now that you've been given permission, all of a sudden you think the same way that I've been thinking for 2, 3, 4 years. Anyways,
Yeah, exactly. It's, get it, don't play that shit. Exactly.
Anyways.
Well, dude, so what's your thoughts on, so as far as just why do you think the mainstream media is talking about that, right? New ownership. I'm going to look into that real quick here for a second.
Yeah.
But outside of that, you know what I mean? Why do you think they're doing that story?
Well, because I haven't thought it all through, but I think the Charlie Kirk assassination is going to shed new light onto the Epstein files. And so I would imagine, here's what I would guess. I would guess that something is going to break pretty soon that they can't contain. And when it breaks, they need to be out ahead of it. So now they're starting to potentially shift the narrative to, yeah, maybe it was a murder and maybe there was something more going on, because oftentimes I feel like when they start soft pedaling the media or the America to start thinking a new way, it means that they've lost containment on the story and it's going to break. And so they have to get out ahead of it. So that's what I kind of think is probably happening. We may be seeing something big come out. I feel like we may be on the verge of something big coming out where they're going to have to admit finally that it's a murder and that they can't contain it anymore. So now they have to get out ahead of it and say, hey, you know what? We're starting to think like it was their fucking idea. We're starting to think maybe this might have been a murder. Look at us. We're ahead of, pissed off. You're saying it because you know it's about to break.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Well, that's exactly right. It goes along with, you want to be on the good side. You have this manic mentality of being with the mob at all costs, and it ends up making you look like a flip-flopping loser at the end of the day. Barry Weiss is CBS News' new editor-in-chief. He was a vocal critic of legacy media. He actually left the Times in 2020. So that's kind of interesting that you had said you actually seem like you kind of bond with people that maybe you disagreed with, and then they say, oh, I was wrong or whatever. I mean, I would think that if you have a guy who he actually started what's called the Freedom Press as an alternate to legacy media. He was very critical of it. I feel like if you're going to leave, being an editor-in-chief from the Times, probably walking away from a pretty good cushy income or something, and to go start your own thing. And now to have this opportunity, I bet they were like, we need somebody who's going to just bring back ratings. And what's going to bring back ratings? The truth is what I would guess it probably went down as. Seems simple. Seems rather simple of a business plan, doesn't it?
Right.
What if we just reported on things that happened?
What if we tried to regain trust in America and actually tell the truth? That would be a way that maybe we could regain some respectability. But anyway, I don't know. That's not to say that they are telling the truth, but but maybe, maybe somebody will start to wise up and say, hey, look, there is a growing trend in America that people don't trust mainstream media. And if they want to fix that, they're going to have to start actually breaking real stories and quit lying and quit being paid off. But
and so I can't stand, and what caused my crash out over the weekend was the moment that you say, hold on, maybe we don't have all the facts. These people, they don't hear reason. They just, they hear hearsay. Like we've disrupted their ceremony of some sort. Like, we're having a ceremony of groupthink. Stop. We have all the facts. And it's like, you just pull the mask off of this thing by asking, or rather stating a simple thing of like, what if we don't have the right person?
Right.
That you become the person that committed these crimes then. Like you, by questioning it, now are on the same level as the suspect or the person convicted of this crime. And it's just wild. I was actually on Reddit the other day or last night, actually. This is super relevant, actually. So I was trying to find the picture of something that I'd seen a few weeks ago when I was scrolling. I was like, oh, I should have grabbed that. I need to use it on stream. Well, I go in there. And so I type in Idaho 4, and I type in Birdie, because I had seen it in that thread before. Dude, there is some threads, not just about me, but just in general, where they'll post screenshots of people's profiles to go and like attack. And a lot of them was about the Idaho 4. Like, hey, like sick the dogs on these people, go get them and all that stuff. And I'm like, you guys are weird. Like you guys are very weird. And it goes back to this entire thing of it's no longer about guilty or innocent for these people. It's about their own personal identity. Okay, let's just call it what it is. That is who they are. They are those type of people that when somebody disagrees with them, they want to end them. They don't want to talk. They want to eviscerate them. And that's
I
why
know,
I
yeah.
said we need to have a certain intensity about this stuff when we talk about it. I think playing it nice and not that I got to be a dick, but just there needs to be a certain intensity behind the belief of not only just open thinking, but also the justice. What is justice? What is just? Why are we still having this argument? Why are you coming at me? For God's sakes, if you believe it so strongly, get your ass a microphone and start telling us all the reason he is innocent or he is guilty.
Right.
And they're going to say, well, I don't have to do that. Dateline did it or Amazon did it. It's like, yeah, see, that's all I need to know. So you're saying you're incapable of repeating the points.
Right.
You know?
Right. 100%. I don't want to make the analogy, but yeah, people who like, hey, if you want to know what I think, I'm going to send somebody to your house and tell you what I think, because I can't tell you what I think. I got to have somebody else tell you. And that's the same thing to do with media. You know, go watch this thing. CBS, NBC, freaking CNN tells you exactly what happened.
Dude, well,
it drives me nuts. It drives me nuts.
And it's tough. It's tough too, because there are really good investigative journalists out there. And this truth seeking, I mean, I think we all see it whenever we're on social media or if we see a story, like truth seeking, there's always this phase in whatever you're looking into that it gets really dark and lonely, right? Like you're not just getting group hugs from everybody for agreeing with the mainstream narrative. You're not just getting participation trophies for, you know, clapping for Nancy Grace and whoever else you could put into that sentence, but you end up just getting exiled.
Yeah.
You know, and isn't it funny, to your point, exiled is where all of the great thinkers end up. All of them.
Yeah. Usually you have to rankle some feathers or bend a few rules in order to make a difference. So going along with groupthink is great for the herd mentality, but it doesn't make you a changer of society. You know, people who change society are the ones that go against the groupthink. But not to say that I arrogantly think that I'm changing society. That's not, you know, but the point being is that, the people who make a difference aren't the groupthink people who sit around and just repeat everything that they're told.
Well, like the other part too, dude, it goes along with all aspects of society. You know what I mean? All aspects of society. One of the things that drives me up a wall, and I'm sorry if this is going to piss people off. When you're merging onto the highway, for example, okay, and you're in traffic, okay, there's this thing, it's called the zipper, okay, so you one up, one in, one up, one in. If you're the douchebag that pulls over into the lane that's wide open for us to get to the front of the zipper, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, why do people do that?
Right.
Well, is it their own identity being attacked because they're saying, oh, they're going to be in front of me, I'm more important, I need places to go, so I'm going to break traffic laws, I'm going to piss everybody off. If I'm pissed off, you're going to be pissed off. And I know that's a rather, I guess, juvenile example, but it's real. I think there's a part of it that goes into all aspects of society.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the mentality. Yeah, I agree.
Jody says, don't get me going. Mike says, I hate that guy. Philly Special says they feed off each other. See it every day at work. It's a sickness.
You know, as I feel like I'm maybe because this is not coffee, I probably am not going to make the point that I want to make on this, but I realized I have always been a super rules follower. Like, I mean, a super rules follower. I'm the guy that only does 2 to 3 miles an hour over the speed limit, not anything more, right? I don't break the rules. I don't violate anything. I've been a good boy my whole life. And there was a time when I started to make a shift, and it happened one day in Seattle when I was standing on a street corner and the light had not changed to tell me it's okay to walk. And some guy comes up and he just confidently blows past my ass, walks across the street like he owns the fucking place. And I felt like the biggest douche in the world. I'm like, what a pussy I am. I'm standing here like an obedient little citizen waiting to be told when I can go. And this guy is all like fucking cock swagger. Look at me, man. I'll just fucking walk across the street because I own this place. And I'm like, maybe I need to reevaluate my choices in life, because again, every pattern of your life is sometimes just like rule keeper,
Mm-hmm.
follow, don't rankle the dude. And again, it's the people who break the rules that I think come out ahead. I don't know.
Well,
I had a point, but you know, that was like a moment for me. I remember seeing that guy blow past me and I'm like, what What am I doing? Why am I always the rules follower, sitting here waiting for my being told when I can go? But anyways,
Did you just say cockswagger?
I might have. I might have.
Oh my God. I mean, dude, but you bring up a good point, right? I think
I'm seeing all the talk swagger come out of the chat. You know what? I need a refill. All right.
Yeah.
Anyways, go ahead.
No, that's okay. That's okay. We highly encourage you staying hydrated tonight. I feel like that's fun.
Good. That's good.
But dude, no, you bring up a good point though. Like, don't break the laws. I think it was Arnold Schwarzenegger that would say that. Can you do a good Arnold voice?
I can't. I suck with.
I can't do it either. I don't even know if I want to try. But he's like, you know, I gotta almost like practice it. Like, don't break the. I'm not gonna do it. Don't break the laws.
Close.
Break
You
the
were
rules.
close.
Don't break the law. I'm not gonna be able to do it. But he says, don't break the law. Break the rules. And you could. Arnold Schwarzenegger probably bought and paid for, no doubt, Hollywood guy. But in general, back in the day, he would say that. He's like, don't break the law. Break the rules. And I think that there's this mentality of that quote that is true, right? Like where it gets a little bit hairy is, where do you stand on like your own morals from like a manners standpoint, right? Your example of jaywalking. Yeah. I mean, I think you're kind of just a bitch if you don't cross the street and you wait for the light. I mean,
thank you. I feel much better as a man. Thank you so much. Appreciate that.
But that's an easy example to kind of call out, right? There's other stuff like, you know, certain manners and respect in society or, you know, in social. I think that comes down to like who you are, because you're maybe not breaking a rule, right? But there's unwritten rules that carry a lot of weight too, you know?
I know, like nobody's going to follow this logic, but I did learn a secret from somebody, which was that the successful people learn.
Hang on, sorry.
Yeah.
Somebody said cockswagger sounds like the new Sent by Right card. I already know there's going to be AI art on that tomorrow.
Well, oh God. You know, I just rolled off the mouth. I just rolled out of my face before I could think about it. But no, it's I had a point, and now I feel like I've lost the point. Oh yeah, it's that the successful people learn which rules can be broken. Like rules are. I hate to say this, but sometimes rules are for the little people, the sheeple that just follow rules without thinking it through. And if you understand why the rule is there and realize this rule is a dumb rule, I can break this rule. Learning what rules you can break and get away with is turning red.
Well, I mean, for God's sakes, there's people that get away with war crimes, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's people that get away with embezzlement and fraud and completely, dude, they get away with everything. You know what I mean?
Like I've given this example before. I've given this Bill Gates. We in this country have traditionally celebrated Bill Gates as a major entrepreneur. And yet him and Steve Jobs back in the day were criminals. They were learning how to hack phone systems and illegally break phone calls so they can make long distance phone calls for free. They were criminals. And now we celebrate them as what geniuses they are, because they knew how to break rules, what rules were okay to break. So again, it's like some of these people we celebrate because they broke some rules. They broke some rules and they didn't play and they literally did something illegal. And we're like, man, that's amazing. He's so smart. Well, he knew which rules he could break.
Dude, who do you think, and I'll ask the Hive this will be a fun question to see what answers people come up with. Who do you think's the wildest example of that? Like, who is somebody that clearly they broke all of the rules and they came out on top, you know?
Yeah.
Because it kind of becomes almost an underdog. Like you're rooting for the underdog, like DB Cooper. You know, you go watch the old news reports on DB, if he was even real. That's a whole nother rabbit hole. But, you know, people were rooting for that guy to get away. You know, there's other things where
John Gotti was super popular for breaking all the rules, and people are saying,
but dude, people are saying Trump, people are saying Musk, Biden, Snowden. Yep. I mean, they're throwing. So look at the trend of everybody in this chat right now. They are all, at least on the surface, from what society would deem is ultra successful. And what did they do? Right. They did a bunch of illegal shit. So what should that tell you? You're going to be okay if you do some illegal shit. You know, crossing the street is a good baby step. You gotta crawl before you can walk. Next thing you know, DA's doing armed robberies. He's on the news. We're yelling. We're hoping he gets away with it. You know, he's like, Bernie said I could break the rules.
I don't need your permission.
The cockswagger burglar strikes again.
Wow. Yeah, there's going to be AI art. I just know it. But although I don't think AI will actually draw that, because you'll put that in there and AI. I'm sorry, that's inappropriate. That's not for. That's not something I can draw for you.
Well, speaking of that, I think. Oh shoot.
I feel. Yeah.
Wait, where is this? Speaking of that, by chance I have this video. AI. These videos, they're literally going to break people's brains. Okay. I saw something pop up on the Alexa in our kitchen, DA, that psychiatric visits are spiking from AI videos in the older generation.
Oh, wow.
My mom fell victim to that damn cat off the diving board or whatever it is. I'm not gonna lie. I've gotten a couple times where I'm like, holy shit. Okay.
Right.
I'm going to play this video. This is Sora 2 AI videos. They're getting out of control. They're literally going to start to break people's brains. So while we're laughing about this, we're joking. I know that we have people in the Hive that, whether they're maybe older or they have family members that are older, this is going to be the new thing of like, when somebody would call and say that they have your daughter or son held hostage and you need to wire $10,000 to Nigeria type thing, right?
Yeah,
or some weird scam. This is going to be the next version of that. Or, the maintenance, they said that my washer's flooding everywhere. I need, 40 grand or whatever to fix this stuff. And it's like, no, this is going to be the new scam. And I want you guys to see, dude, some of these are hilarious too. Let me open this up.
SpongeBob.
Wait, hang on. Noelle just said, okay, yeah. Noelle just said, Bertie, my son bought VR so he could push me off the plank. Wait. It like virtual elder abuse might have to be a new crime. You know what I mean? That's crazy. So, dude, yeah, watch some of these. These are insane. Okay.
On the wheel! You swerved all over 3 lanes back there. Put it in park right now. I'm sorry, man. I just don't move. Doors locked. Unlock it now. Hey, stop the car! On the wheel! You blew past that crash like it was nothing. Put it in park now. Easy there, Chief. We're cooperating. Doors locked. Unlock it right now. That's not happening. Told you cops hate me. Guys on the wheel! You cut off 3 cars and nearly caused a pileup. Put it in park right now.
Sir,
Doors locked. Unlock it now.
I can't get another ticket.
Don't do it. Stop the car.
Lone suspect just fled southbound in a...
Bobby's where I can see them! You nearly caused a pileup back there! Dismount right now!
Sir, we didn't mean any harm.
Don't talk! Hand me the reins! Off the horse!
We must away.
Unit 12, rider just...
Do a kickflip.
Stephen Hawking's paradox coming in hot! Drum up the speed, make time!
Marks everywhere. Drive forward, full power.
Grindstone trying to angle it, but...
Mr. President.
Whoop! I'm a dog! Yeah! I am him! You could never be him! La 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 la! Whoop! Ah!
The chicken's looking nice, pal.
Woo! No, he stole my chicken!
Got a Christmas present, can't slow me down. Cut and go to the high this town. Move, Friday, victory.
That looks real, doesn't it?
Yeah. Fried love in my arms, can't give it up no more. Hey.
Hands, let me see your hands. Get on the ground.
OxyClean, the stain specialist. Got tough spots.
To ChatGPT.
Oh, you two are nothing.
I'll crush anyone who thinks they can stand toe-to-toe with me.
Hey everybody, it's Michael here, and I am so happy today. I got somebody really special to introduce to you. Check it out. This is my new friend.
Hi, I'm Walter. Pleasure to meet all of you. Michael's been showing me around, and it's been a good day.
Wait, no! That person right there! That person over there is not real!
Let's go.
You all can sit here if you want, but I'm telling you...
Okay, let's step off the plane.
Well, anyways, you guys get the point. I just think that these things are getting out of control, and they're using those for humor or for something, right? I mean, what's going to happen? I mean, guys, you guys realize how real that just looked? Are we to really think that the public is just now getting access to this? Like, I mean, sorry. Are we to think that this is just a brand new technology right as the public has access to it as well? No. Dude, they could, you know what they could manufacture with this before people knew this existed?
Yep. 100%.
Think about how much more powerful that is now. At least we know this exists.
Yeah.
I'd go into a psychotic break if I saw SpongeBob on a high-speed chase and I saw that video. I'd be like, how are they doing that? You know what I mean?
We're in for a crazy time because like I said, I mean, I wasn't kidding. There's going to be there's going to be cases in the future where somebody's going to be like, prove I did it. Well, we got you on tape doing it. Nope, that's AI. Like, and then you're going to have to argue whether or not what you see with your computer can be relied on. Of course, mainstream media will tell you we just showed it to you, so that's what happened. But then when somebody questions them and say AI can do that, I could do that. My 15-year-old could do that and make that AI and make it be freaking John F. Kennedy that just made that assassination.
Right.
So
I mean,
yeah.
Let me ask you this too. What's going to happen when the algorithm of AI, and they're there, but I'm saying on a mass scale, right, for the public, what's going to happen when you can just purchase your own AI server and you could have an entire identity live your life online for you? Do you know what I'm saying? Like it can literally be you.
There's a great Black Mirror episode just like that.
Is there? I didn't see that.
Living your life on the cloud. You just basically upload yourself and then you like have this virtual life. But anyways,
that's like, what's that video or what's that movie where they say like the resources are super, there's like not enough resources on Earth, so they're shrinking everybody. They go down to like this microscopic size, and then this guy actually goes and gets shrunk out, and the girl that he's with is like, I backed out. He's like, what? You backed out?
Nope, not gonna go there.
You should. I was not trying to set you up. I was not. You think I can think that far ahead? Maybe. I don't know. What is the most gullible you've ever been though in a situation like this? Like, maybe not even in the mainstream media, but have you ever had one really pulled over on you where it took you a while?
I feel like I have, but it's not coming. I feel like I have. Yeah, I've fallen for some things before I realized how good the AI was. And there's been times when my wife will show me something to this day and she'll be like, holy shit, look at that. And I'll be like, please, that's AI. Like, no, that
Exactly.
rabbit did not just skateboard over that wall. And yeah, it's like, it's AI.
I mean, dude, so I know we're talking about kind of it on a funny level, but I think on a real note, when people say AI could be dangerous, I think that it's like any extremely powerful technology. The public that would probably use it for good is second to get it to all the people that could absolutely turn it into a weapon. What is that about human nature? Why are humans in positions of powers that are like, how can I absolutely control and kill more people with this technology? How can I use this to just cause destruction? Like what happens with that? I mean, dude, think about if they stopped using all this technology for weapons and they started using it for just normal shit. We don't have to go on the up and up and say for good. We could just say normal. I mean, do you realize that we wouldn't even probably recognize this world at all?
Yeah. Yeah. People, if you give people power, they're going to abuse it. That's the bottom line. If you give people power, they're going to abuse it. And I don't think a lot of people really can't help themselves. And I have tangents I could go on, but it's anyways. Yeah, it's these tools are powerful, and people are going to abuse the hell out of them. Like I said, I'm trying to come up with a way to put it in tangible terms, but it's like the law. It's like law enforcement officers who have access, right? Not to pick on law enforcement, but it's like law enforcement officers who have access to databases, and they decide that they like some hot chick that they pulled over, so they use their database to find out more about her and stuff like that, and then they go and stalk her, or they stalk their ex-girlfriend, and that's happening, right? And so it's like if you give these people tools where they can bend rules, they're going to bend the rules. That's what they do. You give people the tools that are like, well, I can find out whatever I want about this person. And it's just, it's bad.
So I'm curious. Okay. Obviously I'm using a name, Birdie, right? There's a lot of people that have screen names. How does everybody in the Hive feel about, like, actually, Mrs. Birdie and I were talking about this. So the internet is more public than public now. And yet you don't have to have your identity. And it lasts forever too. It's just not a moment in time in the real world. And people are out here that are not who they say they are. They're using fake accounts. And it's this weird thing that's kind of happening where I've said this, the internet might be more of reality than reality. If you think about it, the internet shapes reality now.
I have to ask you a question, Birdie. This LA Mike said, listen to this. I want to ask you a question because this is the famous old question. I've never had power, but I wonder if I would abuse it. Let me ask you this, Birdie. If you suddenly came across the ability to cloak yourself and make yourself invisible, do you think you would do anything that you shouldn't do?
Sorry, I just went right to the immature answer. And I apologize to everybody for that.
Think about it.
You all thought it too. You guys all thought it too.
If you had the ability to go invisible and nobody would see you, would you be good? Or would you abuse the piss out of that? Most of us, I think, would abuse the piss out of that.
Well, when you say abuse it or be good, like I would definitely use it as much as I could.
Would you use it for good, Birdie? Would you use it for good?
Would I go do something that I would get in trouble for if I would be seen in person? Meaning like, probably, like the girls' locker room, right? Something like that. No, I would not do that. Okay.
You would not do that because you're just a good, decent human being.
Damn you, DA. Damn you right now.
You would not do that. You would not do that. You see some smoking chick walking into the girls' room and you're not going to be like, oh shit, I got an invisible cloak, bitch. I'm going in to take a peek.
Only if it was Mrs. Birdie. Right, honey?
Oh, nice job. Nice job.
Yeah. No, but you know what I mean? I mean, I think that everybody, come on, you get a chance to be invisible, you're going to do some shiesty stuff, right? Like I'm absolutely going to try and go and listen in on things or see things that you shouldn't. And it goes, well, okay, let's say we ultimately end up getting the ability as humans to become invisible. How do you regulate that?
Right. Well, if everybody had
the
power, wouldn't that just level the playing field then at that point? I mean,
everybody just goes invisible.
I mean, the idea of absolute power is you have to have power that not everybody else has. That's the whole point of having power. You have to have something that not everybody else has.
Somebody just said, it's Andrea. I shits you not. Says all these devious stories as a child. Birdie would be a troublemaker. You're right. I probably would be a troublemaker with it.
Yeah.
It would be.
Don't give me that shit. Like I would be good. I wouldn't go into the girls' locker room.
You would. You would end up getting stuck in positions that even though you're invisible, you would feel like you still couldn't leave. And it would be like you'd end up going into like the girls' locker room and for some reason, like some big old dude janitor comes in there and he's got to put like preparation H on and you're stuck in there at some point. That's what I feel like would end up happening to you.
Wow. That probably would happen to me. My luck is that way. But yeah. But no, the point being is I think a lot of us, if we think about it, like we like to pick on people that abuse power and say what a piece of shit they are that abuse power. But if you put it in simple terms, if you were to be given an invisible cloak, would you abuse it? And most people, I think, if they were being honest with themselves, would have to admit that they probably would abuse it at some point. They if they had the ability to make themselves invisible, they would probably be somewhere they shouldn't be. They would probably eavesdrop on a conversation they shouldn't be listening to. They would probably maybe even get to the point of being, maybe I'll steal the money off that table that nobody will see me do. You would probably start doing stuff. And if you do, then are you that much different than the people you're bitching about who are in positions of power and are doing shitty shit?
It's interesting
like
because they might as well be invisible. They might as well be invisible. And I have to pause right now. Detective Mowry, you have crossed the line, my friend.
Oh, no. At least you didn't say it was your mom. Wasn't that last
Is my
time?
wife much better?
I don't
Christ. You're on probation, Detective Mowry.
You get one strike.
Otherwise, we're leaking your hard drives because I know you probably got some weird shit on those things. Dude, that's like one of my favorite lines that I hear people say. Like whenever there's somebody who's like clearly in the media that's nefarious, and you just go back, I'd like to see those hard drives. You know what I mean? But no, you're right. You might as well be invisible if you're rich enough or if you're powerful enough. And what is a conversation? Oh, this is a good question. I think it is. Maybe not. But what's a conversation that if you were invisible, you could listen in on? What conversation would you pick? All of history.
In all of history? Wow.
Would you
know,
do
I
something
would-
religious? I could see you maybe picking something like that from your kind of your
Right?
past. That would be
You know what?
interesting.
To be honest with you, I don't think it would be religious because I think I've settled enough of my mind what happened in history with religion. I think I would be more inclined to go in the behind the scenes of some government agency when they're talking about something like 9/11, just to say, I knew it, you know, I just,
They would go like this. They go, what was that? What was that? They start
you'd hear
shooting
like,
everywhere.
"Motherfucker!"
You'd be the first person in the world to get shot while being invisible. That would also happen.
I would not be able to keep my mouth shut.
I mean, see, like, fine. How about like a conspiracy one then? So what specific conversation? Because
If I could listen in on conspiracy,
yeah, meaning,
well, like
so
you said, 9/11
Oh.
would be top of my list for just, I mean, I feel like I have my own feelings about 9/11, but I would put myself to listen to the conversation that proves it definitively without a doubt. And then I'd have my invisible little tape recorder and then I'd blow that shit wide open and I'd use my invisible cloak to avoid getting assassinated. So that's what I would do.
Yeah. Okay. Miss Anonymous says what happened to Marilyn Monroe. Jody said the Last Supper. Stone said the conversation of Adam and Eve.
Oh my God, I had a great joke about Adam and Eve. Anyways, yeah.
What was it?
Well, so, oh God, I don't know if I can remember the joke. Fuck. Yeah. So it was, I know what it was. It was a line of people who are trying to get into heaven. And they said, hey, look, heaven's a little crowded right now. So we're going to have to ask a simple question. We don't want to turn a lot of people away, but we want to ask a simple question to get in. So they're like, hey, to get into heaven, you just got to answer this simple question. What color was George Washington's white horse? And the guy goes, white. And they're like, yeah. And then bells went off and sirens went on and he went into heaven. And the next person comes up and he's like, so, so I just have to ask a simple question. You know, Peter the Great, what was his first name? The guy's like, Peter? Yeah. And lights went off and sirens went in and he went into heaven. And the next person comes up and he's like, so what was the first thing that Eve said to Adam? And he goes, man, that's a hard one. And lights went off and sirens went off and they went into heaven. I did tell the joke right.
Yeah, that was good.
I'm probably going to lose some people on that one, but
no, I think you got it. I think that was like the perfect balance of.
Yeah, it's just the right amount of.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. See, I feel like it's hard to gauge how people will understand a joke through the screen and not really, you know, I don't know. There's just certain jokes that I'm like, there's such a build up to them. And they're also funnier if you know who the person is.
You knew when I was leading into that joke, it was going to be bad at the end. And
no, it was good. It was good. Oh, this is a good one. Miss Anonymous says if they were invisible, they'd sneak into the Vatican archives and look around. Isn't that like miles of documents and gold and all that shit, allegedly? Yeah. Area 51. See, Area 51 probably has the technology where they could see you.
Wouldn't you be pissed, though? Wouldn't you be pissed if you had
Hang on. Okay. Sinful pitch 420. I'd go back and stop my parents from meeting. What?
I feel like that's a self-defeating kind of thing. Like you'd never exist, right?
Yeah. I mean, Christ.
But anyways,
go ahead.
I don't know where I was going with that.
Ray says to watch the Egyptians build the pyramids.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say, wouldn't it be disappointing if you only had one? Like you have to pick one moment in time, and you pick something like Area 51, and you find out there is no aliens. It was just exactly what they said. And you're like, I fucking wasted my opportunity. Like I went into Area 51 to get the information, and it was exactly what they said.
That's like if you got 3 wishes from a genie,
right?
You know, what would the wishes be? Well, that's so tough because you'd only probably wish for, like, if you had to wish to be able to go somewhere and see something play out in real time, like you said, a moment in time, right?
Yeah.
Like imagine the letdown. Like, do you know how I'm gonna just double check myself here how I say this. This is a joke, obviously, everybody. But I'm like, do you know how I would feel some type of way if I had 3 wishes from a genie and I used one of them to see what happened at King Road, and I saw Brian Koberger's awkward ass shuffling in there actually doing
and you're
this.
Like,
do you realize that I would be like, I wish to unsee this. I wish to unsee this. Because actually I don't, but you know what I'm saying. It's just, it would be like, are you shitting me? He really did it. He really did it. You know?
Right. That's what I'm saying. Would you be super pissed off if you wasted your one opportunity on something you're like, gosh darn it, man, it could have had so much better ones than that. But anyways, it's all good.
I mean, dude, so speaking of kind of just stuff like that, and with things like Epstein, with things like Idaho 4, Luigi, and stuff like that, like, isn't it kind of interesting that this technology that does exist, right? Like Palantir or like Othram, they need cases like that to get the attention that it does, right? Even if it is organic, right? Even if they're not lobbying for it, if they're not manipulating people to go cover this story, whatever it is, right? The irony in that is hilarious. It's hilarious because they're going to end up stopping people from exactly what promotes their product. If you think about it, if Palantir really is going to end up working as good as it is, and let's say they don't use it for nefarious purposes, ideally,
let's say they're not going to use it for
right,
nefarious
of course,
purposes. Yeah, okay, yeah.
In a clown world, right, where somebody would
Right.
believe that,
Right.
Well, then, how do they say? I guess they stay in business, but then they have to keep moving the goalpost as far as like, well, what's a crime? What's a crime? They have to continue to probably get more closes, more arrests. They're a company, right? They're shareholders. They want to see these things go up. It's a numbers-based game.
Yeah.
Even if they were using it for good, there's a certain aspect of every company you need to continue to grow, you know? And so it's the irony in that is cosmic because they need these people to commit these crimes. And then they go like, I don't know, man. Do you think that they could completely manufacture something like that? Genuinely, like tinfoil hats aside, just on a real conversation. Do you think that a company like Palantir or these third-party people could really, on the massive level that Luigi was, or on the massive level that Idaho 4 was, or Vegas, do you really think they could construct that in a freaking boardroom and then go do it?
Yeah, I do. I do think so. Yeah.
Me too.
For sure.
I do. I really do.
Yeah.
And kind of like jokes aside about that, like, why is that not a conversation that we're having? Why is that allowed to happen? Why does somebody have that ability?
So what, by the way, did you answer when we were talking about Epstein earlier, did you answer what you think, why you think that's being leaked now? Why they're, and I guess two parts of that question about the Epstein thing. I want to go back to that for a second. Is it just CBS or is there other mainstream media going to pick up on it? And if other mainstream media is going to pick up on it, what do you think that's happening?
So I believe from the research that I did about that clip, I believe that CBS, they're the ones that kind of broke that story with that private investigator guy from the NYPD. Now it's been out for like 3 days. So there's other channels that have ran that story and essentially repeated the same thing that we heard. But 60 Minutes did it. CBS aired it then with the private investigator. And then they referenced the 60 Minutes for clips. Why do I think this is coming out now? My first thought was they're trying to cause confusion to exhaust people from continuing to look into it, right? When this Epstein thing really started to gain traction, as you look at presidential campaigns, dude, it was like a huge campaign promise. We're going to do it.
Yeah.
You had, like I said, you had Pam Bondi talking about it, and then it flipped. And then it went away. And then people were like, why are you still looking at it? It's nothing. We don't have it. And now it comes out from the mainstream news that didn't touch it at all. Right? Like I think this system of chaos it's so dependent on people being exhausted from keeping up with it, like so many other things. And I think they're trying to get Epstein to be like that.
Yeah. I have a theory too, that I honestly do believe, and I wish I could give you some of the great examples. Whoever they are, if you're a conspiracy person, you always talk about they are trying to do this to you. Who's they? Anyways, they try to trial balloon shit. So they'll put something out in the news just to see what the public reaction is going to be. And one station will leak it, like a CBS, and they'll see how public reacts to it. It might be UFO just landed on the White House lawn, and they'll just put it out there. One person will report it, and it'll be like here. it's anyways. It's like the recent thing with the Tic Tac and the military jets that supposedly were following a UFO Tic Tac, right? That was released on one station, and it was like a test to see, are people ready for this? Can they handle it? If so, every other station will pick up on it. But if everybody freaks out, they'll be like, oh, it's fucking CBS went off the rails with that, and it was on again and off and done with that 2 days later. So I just feel like sometimes they trial balloon our ass to see if we're ready for the big release. But
I think you're absolutely spot on with that. And it's almost, you know what? I'm glad you said that, because that's something that even I forget to assume that's what they're doing. A lot of times we might think that, oh, they're scrubbing it. Well, I mean, technically, right, from a technical standpoint, they do scrub it, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That could have been a strategic release, and it could just be a 96-hour story, and they're just getting feelers out there for something that's going to drop next year.
Yeah, right. Like they're preparing the masses for something that's coming.
There's a word for that. Predictive programming.
Yeah. Yes.
Right. Dude, I'm becoming more and more of a believer. Like, have you heard of like the silent weapon?
No. Have I not? Have I?
I think it's like, it was like a documentary, or if it was a title of a YouTube movie. I've only seen clips of it. I'm trying to find the full version, but it talks about this silent weapon, and maybe I'm confusing the titles on these things, but nonetheless, silent weapon sums up what I'm trying to say. And it's like, there are certain frequencies, or it's almost like subliminal messaging, but it's way more effective. And social media can use it, and it could be things that we would never expect that they're doing. Certain triggers that get us all to behave a certain way. And I'm telling you guys, it's been implemented in us. Think of, over the course of your life, if you've seen more people now stop on a dime and go along with something now, or back when you were younger. Dude, people stop on a dime today when something takes over the internet and goes mega viral. They stop on a dime. And they all get in line. They get into their formations of their teams. Ready, break. Here we go. You know, like the Charlie Kirk thing was an example. The Epstein thing's an example. I don't know. It's just the thing that I can't stand about it is why is there a need to do that? Like, why is there a need to control people in that manner? And you could say, well, that's rather obvious, Bertie. Because if they can't control us that way, well, we could just do whatever we want. We don't need them. And I argue back, and I kind of push back with that, or on that, by saying, well, they've done it for decades, centuries. Why have they needed it to get to this point, this level of technology? Because I think as humans, with the internet, with our ability to communicate and get information in real time, dude, we are skyrocketing with like our awareness on stuff. I really do. They're running out of options to be able to suppress this. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's why they're relying on the AI algorithms. That's why they're relying on, shadow banning and all that stuff. Right. I mean, that was a rhetorical question on why they need to do it this way. But I think it's because there's a lot of people awake now, DA. It's obvious. Yeah. But I think that's why they're continuing to do it. We're like, well, why? Well, when you get power, you don't ever want to lose power. And when you give up power, you never give it back. One of my favorite quotes is, nobody's ever voted their way out of oppression.
Somebody said here, I think, they said, I think people are waking up. Do you think that's the case? Like, we're talking a lot about sheeple and people who just go along with the narrative and whatever, but do you think society as a whole is starting to wake up a little bit? Do we see the tide changing on mainstream media, where people are going to force mainstream media to either start telling the truth, or they're just going to go to alternate media? I mean, do you think we're making a change or not?
I'm glad you asked that, because there's an aspect of what people consider waking up that's a metric that gets tossed out a lot. I actually did it in the beginning of the stream. So I'm going to kind of correct myself on it by saying, well, look at the mainstream media's numbers. They're way down. Well, yeah. Okay. Of course they're going to be down. Everyone's got a freaking phone in their hand now at all times. So they're going to go to other platforms. They're not going to go to these channels. So is it down, or are they just getting numbers? Are their numbers different on what are their impressions on Instagram? Are they more?
Right. Because
they can reach people more. Right.
Yeah.
So there's that aspect of it. I think there's a lot of people that have like fake woken up. Right. I think there's a lot of people. And if my mom's watching this, obviously I'm not trying to talk shit about my mom. but she'll tune in from time to time. And but just she's like aware of it, and I've said this before, but she doesn't want to know. She's like if I sent her the video of like Kelly Patterson and the story about being trafficked, she understands that happens, but she's like, I can't. Right. And I get it. Like, you don't want to watch stuff that makes you feel uncomfortable, but it's not just that subject. It kind of applies to everything. That's just a very extreme example. And I think there's a lot of people like that. I think there's a lot of people that act like they know the system, but then if you had to see how do they behave, they don't know the system because they're behaving in the ways that somebody who doesn't know it would.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I mean, that's what I'm pondering every day. Is just like I think things are starting to turn at the table a little bit. I worry about channels like us, though. By the way, because it's easy to suppress the alternative press, right? So that's the other thing I worry about is it's easy to suppress with hidden algorithms and stuff like that to suppress the other thing. And again, maybe that's a little arrogant because again, my channel's not big because I'm being suppressed, because you watch, there's a lot of people who are saying a lot of crazy shit that have 500,000 or 1 million people following them kind of thing. But I just wonder, like, how easy is it for them to control the narrative and us not realize they're controlling it? So I keep pondering back and forth whether we're making progress or whether they've got us all under control, because it's all algorithm based now, and they'll just make sure that alternate press doesn't ever get big.
Well, I think there is something to the algorithm for sure, but at the same time, how could I? Because it's the suppression of information, right? It's the suppression of information. There is no lack of those sources. So I'm not disagreeing with the algorithm thing you're talking about, because that's real. That's real. But
yeah,
I think to kind of maybe segue back to my point I was just making about being fake awake, when somebody asks me a question like, how do you know that? I'm like, I don't live under a rock.
Because I'm not a moron.
Yeah. I actually, I graduated from school, and I didn't just tell myself, now I've learned everything that I need to know to live my life at the young age of 18. I don't have to learn. I don't have to read. I don't have to look into things. I don't have to get better at anything. I'm prepared. I just had to ask to go take a piss, but I'm going to be out in the real world now and be able to put myself into, hundreds of thousands of dollars of debt if I want to. I could do anything I want. And I know everything now. Yes. Even though they didn't teach me anything that I really do know. And that's the type of thing where it's like, don't live under a rock, learn about the people that are governing you, learn about the laws, learn about the things in society that can get you ahead if you don't fall into the trap of very obvious traps that we're not taught about at a young age. Credit card debt, certain loans, things like that, right? They don't teach you that. Okay. But they still make you ask to go take a piss when you're 17 years old. And they'll go, like the thing that drove me up a wall, like, can I go to the bathroom? I don't know. Can you? Because they want you to use the proper grammar. Like, look, lady, I'll piss in your recycling bin. Okay. Like, may I use the restroom? Yes.
They taught you well. They got you to sheeple and yeah.
Here's
the thing though. Like I've said this before, and I hope this won't get too philosophical late in the night, but I really did learn when I was going to school, when you're in the early stages of your grade school education, you get told about the founding fathers of America, and they're all heroes and they're all amazing and the stories are beautiful and they're so great. They fought for our freedom, and that's why we have this great country. And then you get into high school and you start to say, well, there was a little bit deeper story behind this. It might have been a little bit more to do with taxes than it was freedom and whatever. And then you get to college and you're like, those motherfuckers were slave owners and they were pieces of shit and they rebelled and it was all about money. And the higher up you go in the education change, the illusion starts getting shattered. And so as long as you stay on the low education scale, everything is like wonderful and beautiful. And then the more education you get, you realize that the illusion gets shattered. That I don't know if I'm making any sense.
No, you are.
it's funny that the higher education you get, the more you realize everything's a shit show, and you've been lied to when you were at the low education level. And that's where a lot of people stay, is at that lower education level, where they just kind of sheeple go along with the everything's great. The founding fathers are amazing people. We got to celebrate them. They're perfect. And the more education you get, you're like, yeah, they're pieces of crap, and they manipulated the system, and maybe things aren't what you think they are.
And that's why I think Hood Fairy just said you have to educate yourself. You absolutely do. There's no excuse in today's world to not educate yourself. Really, there's no excuse. It's easy. It's free. You watch YouTube videos. You have AI that could teach you, right? I mean, the thing, to your point though, is the illusion gets shattered, but it seems like it's still a script of how they shatter it amongst these institutions for certain levels of education. That's still a part of the system. You have to break out of that. And as you are becoming more educated and higher education, it has to be also your own way of learning it, your own thing, right? And I don't think you have to learn that somebody, how can I say this? Do you know what I'm trying to say when I say you have to learn how to educate yourself? You have to learn that it's okay to educate yourself. You have to learn that if you go and teach yourself something, just because it didn't come from somebody with a fancy title or a degree, it's still learning and it can still be true.
Yeah.
It's almost like you have to learn in the way and accept learning yourself in a way, like how we don't need somebody who's in a suit and tie on one of the big 4 or 5 channels to tell you the truth. You have to think that way about learning.
Right. Yeah. And that's the thing. I mean, part of the thing about confidence in life is starting to realize that you can think for yourself. And a lot of people, frankly, even myself, have a hard time learning how to think for ourselves. And so, the people who I think really succeed are the ones who finally learn how to start thinking for themselves instead of just accepting everything they've been saying. I don't know. We're getting awfully philosophical. It feels like it's a little too deep. Like maybe I should have had another drink, but the point being is that
go have one.
You have to learn.
We got a little time.
Oh, well, that shit. If you have time, I'm going to refill, but
go get a refill.
All right, take me off camera though, so I can step away with not like. What if I'm Porky Piggin and I stand up and I'm naked?
What does that mean?
Waist down.
Are you saying like, oh,
Porky
Jesus
Pig has
Christ.
a shirt on and no pants? You want me to stand? I'll
You're
stand,
just
but
Winnie
take me off,
Poohin?
you take me off camera.
DA's in a thong.
Don't tell people.
Oh my God. All right, Hive. How are we doing? You guys hanging in there? It's always fun with DA. Never know the direction that these shows are going to go, but it's always fun to start a week like this. I enjoy it. As you guys know, I have been kind of with kind of the weekly guests. We got some shit to get done here in the Hive, so take a few weeks off from weekly guests, but Mondays are kind of with DA. He's not going to be here next week. I wanted to make sure that this is just it's good for the soul. Yeah, DA is pantsless. Oh, thank you, Luna. Yep, absolutely. DA would be in a red thong. Let's see the bottom. Christ. Yeah, if everybody, while DA is gone, please go and like the chat. Like I said, there's 252. It'd be nice to get that up 100. If we do that, I'll have DA do a handstand. And he's back. He's back, Hive. 350 likes, DA does a handstand. And you agreed to it.
Did I just hear you only had like 252 people? Am I driving people away from your channel, or people get
likes?
Oh, likes. I was like, we only have 200 people watching. Like, I've driven people away, them into the arms of another man. 7. But anyways, that's a line from Liar Liar. But anyways, it's all good.
Yeah,
I'm full of pop culture references.
Oh,
I heard the red thong thing, by the way. Don't think I didn't have my freaking earphones in when I was walking to the other room. So,
breaking news: there's now a new sponsor for the Hive, and we get really good sponsors here. Here's our newest one. This is Scent So Good, even a cockswagger burglar would use it.
You can't put that on screen.
Why? Cockswagger. It's a combination word, right? Thank you to whoever just made that so quickly. Christ, you guys are awesome.
AI, man, it's amazing. It's amazing. Yeah,
Drew Bledsoe, thank you for the super chat. He's throwing money at DA to do a handstand. I think you should.
I mean, it's a different kind of show.
Dude, so to kind of maybe put an exclamation mark on our theme of why does mind control feel good? And I feel like that's kind of boring to talk about. Where I'm like, why does mind control feel good? Not that it's boring.
My first thought was, did we have a theme?
No, we didn't really have a theme. But
no, we
did.
Dude, we did.
Have you? Okay, fine. How about this? Forget asking the question on why it feels good. Let me ask you this: what is a time in your life where you're like, I'm being mind controlled? Have you that? Who in here has felt like in the moment they didn't know they were being mind controlled, but when you look back at it, you're like, holy shit, that wasn't even me. Like they got me. The Wi-Fi, the 5G, something got me, and I was just acting a fool. And you can't say that it was, the drinks or anything either. It has to be just like fully. You think that they actually manipulated your thoughts.
Are you? Yeah, I want somebody else to take a stab at that because I'm trying to think, and the only thing I can think of is, and it's horrible. It's horrible because it was for me. Yeah, let's see if we get some other people first. My moment. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I'm not saying like conspiracies mind controlled. I'm saying like you in a situation, you're like, there's no way. Like, what just happened? Somebody's controlling my brain. Why did I do that? Why did I say that?
Yeah, I've done those things. Yeah. Yeah.
Not as dumb as you look says it's ironic that those that enjoy mind control it's ironic that those that enjoy mind control are those that sit behind a mainstream lens, but by themselves in a room with no interactions, I fear. Yeah.
I feel like I'm going to get too serious, but
No,
I'll tell you,
get serious.
I'll tell you where the moment happened for me. And I don't know what age you were when this happened, but when 9/11 happened and I saw the planes fly into the buildings, I was in shock for days, like shocked. Like I couldn't believe I just saw that happen with my own eyes. And I think I was literally numb. And then I immediately was like, where's the fucking nearest Marine recruiter? I'm going to go over there. I'm going to kill every motherfucker in the Middle East. And then one day I was in this mode. Like, I've signed me up. I'm going to go jog. I'm going to get my ass in shape. I'm going to go join the Marines. I'm going to go kill everybody. And then I saw one day everybody waving flags saying, go bomb the Middle East. And I went, are we all being fucking manipulated? Like, all of us aren't even thinking anymore. We're just ready to go kill people. And we're not even sure what really happened. And that was a moment that I started to realize, how manipulated am I being? That I'm ready to go kill people I don't know because I've been told what happened, and I'm not sure that's what happened. And so that was a huge moment for me. Like I said, very serious thought, and I'm not trying to make it a downer, but that was a moment where I literally saw. It was like weird. I saw everybody waving flags saying, go bomb the Middle East. And I thought, we're a bunch of monkeys. Like, I'm not even sure we understand what happened, but we're ready to go do war crimes because we think somebody needs to pay for this. Maybe we're not thinking.
Dude, so. I don't think you're alone in that thought. I mean, Sammy T has said that. Like my cousin did join the Marines. You know what I mean? My cousin did join because of that. I remember, so I was in 3rd or 4th grade when 9/11 happened. And I remember sitting next to my buddy Lauren, and he got on the bus. He was like, my parents think it was like China. And I remember that because I had no idea. I was just on the bus. I was one of like the first to get picked up, and I was the last to get dropped off just on the school route. Well, we got let out. I remember like my mom was like sitting in the living room crying, and then my dad was actually in Arizona at the airport. So he had to rent a hamster mobile, the Kia Soul or whatever it was. It was like some weird ass little car. He had to drive it across the country, and scary times. But I remember asking my dad, like, again, you could picture 4th grade. Why? My dad even said, and I remember this. He told me it's because they hate our freedom, and it stuck with me.
Yeah.
And I believed it.
Yeah. And
I go back to that quote of, do we think we're so innocent as a country? It's not anti-American, right? I think that it's important for people to feel okay in the country that they live and think that their country is doing good. There's nothing wrong with that. Every citizen of every country should feel that way, should have the best interest. And then I think your governments should also make sure that the people feel that way. And I don't think that was a thing in America for much longer than we probably recognized. Now, I wasn't as old as you back then, but think about that. We were told we were free. they hate our freedoms. Well, that's just categorically false. It's just a different culture.
Yeah.
And we like, do you know what I'm saying? Do you feel like adults even back then kind of felt that way?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there was a lot of groupthink going on. It's when I really started to wake up to that exact kind of parroting thing. They're just jealous of our freedoms. We have it so great and they just hate us because we're special. And I'm like, it sounds like a bunch of bullshit. Like, I'm not sure that's really, like you're just brainwashing people, but
yeah.
Anyways, and it was a wake up time for me. That was a moment when I realized because again, I was so ready to change my life, right? Do shit that I can't undo. I'll never forgive myself for. And I was like, man, before, I guess, to get super serious, before you go and pull the trigger and take someone's life, you better make sure that person did the thing you think they did. How would you feel if you came back and you found out that's not what happened? Like, it would have been horrible. But anyways.
Yeah, that's
that's not to disrespect soldiers and all that.
Of course not.
Don't get that twisted.
I hope that goes without being said, because
it should, but too often people conflate those things. But
I've always said too, though, like, think about what you just said, right? Like, you thought to yourself, oh shit, am I being manipulated? But at the same time, dude, if nobody knew, right? Nobody knew. Well, those people were the brave ones that put their name on the line and said, I'm going to go do it. It was what we were told.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's nothing to question about that. It's not their fault.
Right.
You know, I think I stole that. I kind of used that line for like father-in-law, my cousins. That's how they kind of say it. It's like, you know, that's what it is. They didn't know.
Nice. Chatty chick in the thing said 2008 with the Boston Marathon. That was a good moment too for a lot of people to
yeah.
Yeah.
Crowd says, fuck y'all. I'm a veteran. God, we love you. You know what I mean. I'm going to be honest. I thought that was going to go in a much funnier direction.
I know. I told you it was going to be dark. I told you, like, somebody else needs. I was begging you. I was begging somebody else to answer, because if I give the answer, it's going to go dark and we're going to get all crying in our beer and shit, and it's going to be a rough time. But
yeah. Well, I was just thinking, like, I think music. If you ever look at like a crowd of people and certain music's playing, I think that is like kind of like this. There's a certain thing about music that gets people to behave a certain way. Dance moves. Like, you know how people, if you play, I wish I could find this YouTube video. I've been looking for it for so long. When I did the tinfoil hat conspiracy of the day about the frequency of music being changed from 432 to 440 and how it makes the water and sand not make these beautiful shapes naturally, I saw this like compilation of, it was like babies and toddlers that had the certain songs played, and all of them moved and danced the same way. And they were all separate videos. They all moved the same way to these tunes. And I'm like, wow, that is wild. Do you know what I mean? Like, think of how powerful that is. If you naturally move that way, well, are they thinking of moving that way? Or are they being kind of manipulated? Like, when I say manipulate, you know what I'm saying? Is it just a side effect of what they're listening to that's making them move that way? Does anybody know the name of that? It was really viral for a while. The snowflakes change as well. Man, snowflakes under a microscope are beautiful, dude. I love this like symmetrical, geometric type art. I love that. Do you know what I mean?
Sorry that I'm distracted. Somebody just knocked on the door, and I'm like, who the hell's here right now? Probably the FBI. Sorry.
The FBI.
Yes, there? Snowflakes are. Yeah, I don't know. Snowflakes are amazing. Fractals. Yes, fractals are freaking amazing. One of the most amazing things ever.
All right, Dia. Here's what I hang on. Why did Lisa just say this? What is that?
Why are you putting it on screen?
Well, I'm curious. Right?
That's when their illusion broke, I guess.
Yeah, maybe. Dude, so you were saying the mind control thing, that's when you had felt it. You said you snapped out of it. Have you ever seen somebody, like, for example, your wife? Have you ever actually, I'll start with the story. I think there's and Mrs. Birdie might be watching this. I think there's a correlation with what my wife will watch. If she binge watches a certain show, there's a correlation with her behavior. And I'm not saying that in a bad or a mean way. It's just, it's my own thing. Like, I pick up on, like, you know, it's kind of like when you hang out with someone, you start using their their accent, or you start saying a word that they use. I feel like I see that with her because I don't watch much TV. Do you know what I mean? But like before bed when I'm streaming, like she'll have this on her laptop and then she's watching a show. I don't know. I feel like I could tell, like if she's watching whatever genre of something, I could tell. Do you guys feel that way? Like what you're watching kind of dictates maybe mentalities?
My mind just checked out. I was going in horrible directions, but yeah, you probably can.
Well, go in that direction. I'm curious now. No, now I want to know. What is she watching? Is that what you're going to ask? Yeah. Yeah.
I'm saying, yeah, sometimes you can tell what your spouse is watching. But yeah.
Well, what does that mean? Please tell. No. Yeah, no, I want to know.
I was trying to figure out where you were going with it. That's all. Like, you're making me blush. I'm like a child.
No, but it's like, so I don't know. Like, it's just, I could just tell, right? Like if she's watching like Real Housewives, I'm like, okay, she's a little bit more fired up, than normal. If
right. That's just what I'm saying. You can tell from the mood, the kind of things.
Yeah. Someone goes, Obs, he's dissing. Easy there. Easy.
Why did somebody say I'm going to get demonetized? Have I gone too far? All right.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh God. Did you? Anyways.
What?
Just put a chat. Somebody just said something.
What did they say?
Two girls in one cup. They just asked if I was like, we're not going there.
Oh.
Somebody said DA is referring to two girls in one cup. But no, we're not going. We're not going. If you, Birdie, if you don't know, don't go. Just if you don't know.
I feel like every single person in the world has seen that, and I don't know why. Why is that like?
Right? Why would you look?
It's like once you hear about it, you're like, that can't be real, and you have to go look, and then you immediately regret looking.
That reminds me. See, we're off the rails. That reminds me of a Dave Chappelle skit where he was doing a skit about walking down a hallway, and each door was like a room of the internet, and he would open it up, and he'd open up a door, and he'd be like, have this horrific look on his face, like, oh my God. He'd shut the door, and he'd be like, let me see that shit again. The first reaction was like, oh my God. Okay, let me see that shit again.
But does anybody know the backstory of that? Why did that become a thing? How did that become viral? Who found that?
I think it shocked everybody. I think it just shocked everybody. I think that's why it became viral, because it shocked everybody.
Was it like an email chain? Like, you know what I mean? It was pretty early.
Oh, don't watch one guy in one cup. Yeah, I don't know
God.
that.
There's so many of those weird ones, like of the OG internet. You know what I mean? Well, Matilda, consider yourself lucky. Don't get curious now. You've made it this far. So, hang on. You don't even know what we're talking about? LA Mike, there's no way that's real. You don't know about that.
Don't put it on
fake
screen.
News? Don't
put it on screen, Birdie. Don't put it on screen.
Yeah. You know what? I will say, for as like mischievous as I was as a kid, I was never the person that like had to like show my buddies anything like super horrific. That seemed to always like happen to me. Like, dude, do you remember like this is like really messed up, but it's like, do you remember like the first time you saw somebody like die on the internet and you like saw it and you're like, oh my God, dude.
Yeah.
I don't like that feeling. I can't even watch. I have a friend that sends me all these nature is metal videos.
Uh-huh.
Have you ever seen those?
Uh-uh.
It's like lions hunting for like monkeys, or like, it's just,
I can't watch
it either.
Any nature show. This is the tiger about to kill a little lamb. Like, no, I don't want to see that.
Oh no. Ariana is making LA Mike watch it now.
Oh, sorry, man.
Oh man.
I'm sorry.
Christ. Don't do it.
That's not good.
Don't do it.
It's no good. Some things you can't unsee.
Somebody else said blue waffle. Don't do that one either.
Yeah. By the way, some things you can't. We're off the rails again, but some things you can't unsee. You're talking about the violence thing. Do you remember back? Maybe this is again before your time. There was some famous beheadings on TV during the time when one of the reporters got beheaded on TV. Well, you had it on the internet, right? And I made the mistake of watching one of those. Fuck, you can't unsee that shit.
No.
You cannot unsee that. And once you do it, I think it affects you for life.
I had a roommate in college that was like obsessed with like cartel videos.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why are we doing this? Why are we doing this? It's terrible. It's scary. It's literally scary. I'm like, I don't understand it. And like, dude, I don't know. There's something to that. And Anyways, long story short, don't look it up. I don't encourage that. I'm sorry if you haven't heard of it. Now you're curious. Amanda B agrees. Don't look up that.
Yeah,
I don't like this stuff. I feel like
we've done a disservice. We've done a disservice to the crowd tonight because that's some stuff you don't want to go. Don't go there. It's not worth it.
Yeah.
Even though it's kind of funny now, you know what? We're laughing nervously because we've been damaged. And when you have psychological, it's emotional damage. And when you have emotional damage, you have to laugh to deal with your trauma.
Have you guys ever seen this? Oh, hang on. I gotta get it full screen. Curious how many people have ever seen this video. This was like the first viral video that I feel like happened on email chains.
Yeah, you're all peaceful into that shit, and then
Did you ever see that one?
I did. I didn't know that's what this was going to be again, but I did see that, and it did scare the piss out of me the first time it happened. Yeah, I've got trauma, man.
People don't like that. I'm sorry. But that was another thing too. Do you know what else I hated about the early internet days, bro? Just real quick, talk about like a form of like manipulation and mind control. People are pissed about that. I'm sorry, guys. Sorry. I scared Mama Judy to death.
I hate you right now.
I guess I didn't think about that. I guess if people haven't seen it, I just assumed everybody did. So I'm sorry.
I forgot about it, but thank goodness it didn't have the same shock value it had the first time.
Yeah. But dude, do you know what I'm so glad is done on social media and emails? Forward this to 10 people or like you'll die a horrific death. And I'm sorry. I would do it. I would always have to be that guy to keep the chain going.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I don't want to be that guy. Like, I bet you won't. How about the ones that start with, I bet you won't do this because, only like certain human beings will do this. And I bet you're not one of them.
Hang on.
I've been manipulated.
Did Mama Judy really just, did they really just pee themselves a little bit? I'm sorry. That's a first. Here, you get a top dog. First one to
if you
wet
wait a
their
minute,
pants.
you sir, no. That top dog is for you. If you made somebody pee themselves on camera, like if you by something you said make somebody piss themselves a little, you get top dog
For scaring them with a traumatic video.
Yeah,
somebody's
yeah,
mom.
That's
I'm
bonus
top dog
points.
Wow.
Bonus. Yeah. It's like it's like telling a joke at the perfect time when somebody's about to take a swig of something and you make them spew it out their nose. You get bonus points. It's the same thing. If you say something to make somebody piss themselves a little bit, you get bonus points.
Jody, does your mom think I should get the top dog or the clown horn? Which one will I get? Yeah, not Lamy Jamie says last Monday I definitely peed laughing. Last Monday was hilarious, dude. You know
who was on?
You. Are you high?
No, man, that shit doesn't work for me, unfortunately. Anyways.
Yeah, that's what you said. I unfortunately think I'm dying every time. That's literally, I never do, but I always think I'm going to. It's the last time I took a breath. To have to mechanically breathe or what? I know I told that story about the pot brownie back in the day that just scarred me for life.
Yeah. One time it did work for me. And it was funny the amount of people that wanted to see me just get completely gone,
Baked.
Right? And then they're laughing. They're just laughing because they're like, "Oh my god, did he just eat 2 gummies? Bye bye, see you later." And then later on, you're like, I was laughing at this funny. I was like, "That shit has sailed," and I thought it was the funniest shit everywhere. And I just kept saying it over and over. That shit has sailed, and they're like, "I love this. He's completely wasted." And then later on, I'm like, "Why do you love that?" Like, there's no part of that was good,
dude. Everybody kind of goes through a phase where maybe not everybody. I did it with my little brother where I'm like, when he started, I could tell he started like smoking a little bit. I don't know why. I would just be like, I want to, I don't know why I thought it was funny to get him like violently high. You know what I mean? It's mean. Like looking back at it now, because when you're violently high, there's no worse feeling. Right. And I'm talking like back in the day, dude, one of the things that we did, can you say, do you know the, I don't know if I could say this. Can you say penis?
I'm
Can you say
smiling
penis
already.
on YouTube?
Can you say what?
Can you say penis on YouTube?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know. So
you can say a lot of things on YouTube as long as it's context and you're not being disrespectful and there's some kind of context for it. Now, if you're just being potty mouth the whole time, you're going to get in trouble. But
dude, I don't know if I've told this story, but so we had a pool at my childhood house, and in the basement we had like they call it like an in-law suite, but it was my room down there. It had a bathroom and everything. So very easy to, you can imagine being in high school to get away with shit. And we would make these things. And obviously I don't smoke anymore or whatever. I'm just saying back in the day, we'd make these, they're called gravity bongs. So we took empty Gatorade bottles. We'd heat up the caps, burn a hole in it, and put we used like a ratchet, like top, like a metal, I don't know, like what you'd go that goes.
Yeah.
We'd use that as like the bowl.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or like an apple. Okay. But particularly like the gravity bongs, we'd do it out of water bottles with chlorine water, like idiots. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not a lot, but just like whatever. But we were doing this one time, this downstairs, and we would make like the spoofs. So we'd stuff a bunch of dryer sheets in a toilet paper roll and like blow the smoke through that to get rid of the smell. Like my poor mom just got gaslit her entire life for those 5 years. Like, what are you talking about, Mom? We're not smoking. Like, what do you mean? She's like, I can smell it. Where's it coming from? I don't know. You know, like, okay, Mom, I have no idea. So
you were such an asshole kid.
Yeah. So like, or like if I would do it like before I shower, I'd just like let the shower steam up a ton and then shower afterwards. So like the soap would cover it up. Long story short, my little brother's hanging out with me and my buddies, and we're all hanging out in the pool. Jacob is my younger brother's name. Very, very new to smoking. And so he gets very high. And he's in the pool, and we start playing the penis game, which is where somebody says penis, and then it's like you got to say it louder, like penis, and then you got to like penis. And the next thing you know, like people are just screaming penis. Okay.
Right.
So so it's probably like 5 or 6 of us just being juvenile and started to yell this. And I think one of my buddies had like said, okay, let's play this. And we all kind of knew that we were going to do this in, which is mean. But we said penis, right? It's ramping up. And my brother, with all of his might, just screams it so loud. Okay. Like echoing in the neighborhood at nighttime. Okay?
He wins though.
Okay. Well, not only did he win, we looked at him, we go, why did you just scream that? He goes, what do you mean? I go, well, you just screamed penis at the top of your lungs. Like, are you guys kidding me? Like, we're not playing that game. And like, so he like he thought he was like hearing all of us. He's like, he thought he was hearing all of us say it. Cause we'd go like penis, penis, penis. And then he's like, nobody said it. He's like, dude, are you serious? He's like, nobody said that at all. And then like, so that's like mean, right? It's like mean. It's like good fun, but it's mean because he's freaked out. And then later that night, we were having a bonfire, and for some reason, my buddy, we call him, I'll just call him Alex, and we're sitting around the bonfire, and we had like a bong, and my buddy Alex is sitting right next to my brother, and Alex hits it, and he goes to hand it to my brother, and he just falls out of his chair. Like on purpose. He just falls out. I was like, dude, what's going on, man? Like, it's just so, I look back, it's like such cheap, easy humor. Yeah. But I'm like, once you actually have an experience where you're uncontrollably, violently high, I'd be pissed if that happened. You know what I mean?
I used to play a game with, maybe I've told you this on another live, but I used to play a game with my buddy called Pass the Social Stigma. And we would try to embarrass each other in public. And I always lost those games because I couldn't do that. But I remember the one time, did I tell you the story about the gas station pump when he came out of the gas? So I'm pumping gas and I'm super self-conscious about what people think of me, right? I'm just one of these people always like super self-conscious. And he comes out and there's like music playing, and he starts stripping, like slow stripping as a stripper, pulling his shirt off, licking his fingers and tweaking his nipples as he's coming towards me. He's like, "Hey buddy, let's get it on." And I'm just like horrified in front of this whole pump. And he did that shit. He did so many past the social stigmas things to me. I'm traumatized. There's a reason why I'm embarrassed about what people think about me, because he humiliated me in public on a repeated basis. That was just one. But yeah. So when you did the penis game, oh, no, I did get him back once, and it didn't go over well because I pissed him off so bad, because we were in line together and he was buying some kid's toy for something. And I said, "Aren't you supposed to be staying away from, like, 500 feet away from all children at all times?" And and he fucking lost it. He was like, "Dude, you can't say that. Oh my God, that's going over the line." And I'm like, I thought that was funny.
I think it's funny.
I thought it was hysterical. And but anyways, apparently he didn't like it. So I don't play games very well. Like, I don't seem to understand the rules.
But what was the thing about the gas pump?
That's just all he did. It's just the point that he would do shit like that. Like, he would strip and do the whole thing, and I would be humiliated and embarrassed. And I guess the whole point was, it was the penis game. It's the kid that yells penis kind of thing, but he would do this to me and he would just humiliate me. I don't know. It seemed like it related. Maybe in my mind,
No,
it
it
related.
did.
But
It did. It
yeah.
did relate. It absolutely related. Dude, I mean, there were such simple things that I look back. What?
Did you tell him that you wear lipstick now?
Well, I was going to ask, was that the same guy that you were walking down that path that apparently everybody went and met up with in that one bathroom? Because
No,
of that certain
that was a
thing?
different gentleman. Yeah. You know what time it is in the park? It's
Yeah.
No, that
Yeah.
was not the same guy. Not the same guy.
That's funny, dude. Because we never did the pass of social stigma. We did one time go and buy red and blue LED lights from Advanced Auto Parts, and we pulled somebody over as a fake joke. So
I laugh now, but that's exactly how you get yourself shot.
oh, dude, I mean, I think about this shit. And I'm like, like I said, there's many times that if this stuff would have happened to me today, I'm just like, I would have to crash out. I wouldn't know what to do. So we went to Advanced Auto Parts. You know how you can buy like those? Now it's like you see like all these people like put them behind their TV, like those flex LED strips. You know, like they got the LEDs and they're like bendable and you can kind of cut them, and they have the 3M tape on the back.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Okay.
Yeah.
So we watched a YouTube video on how to wire those up to a toggle switch. Okay. So we went to Advanced Auto Parts, and then we went to like a hardware store. We got a toggle switch, and dude, we installed them probably way too good for what we should have been able to. We put them right up at the top above the visors. Okay. And what's hilarious, dude, is I drove a 2000 Toyota Corolla with like 110,000 miles on it. No tinted windows, nothing. It's very obvious there's 4 high schoolers in this car. So we couldn't wait until nighttime, because when we tried it out during the day, we toggled that switch back and forth. It was like there was no noise, but it was spot on, bro. Spot on. So it's actually kind of a traumatizing story. And what ended up happening.
It's going to go serious. It's going to go dark.
Yeah, it got serious really quick, as you can imagine. So, dude, it's a Saturday night, and we don't live on the darkest road. Like, there's street lights, but it's dark enough. We're like, dude, these LEDs were very bright. So we get behind somebody. We wanted to make sure, like, we're like circling the block, like waiting for just a lone car to come down to like pull them over. It's so effed up. Like, seriously, it's kind of, and we had no intention of doing anything. We just wanted to see if it would work. Like, we literally were bored. We just want to see if it worked. Well, dude, so we finally get somebody that's driving down the road by themselves, and I'm driving. My buddy's on the toggle switch, and he lights them up. Right, dude. It worked immediately. Like, we were shocked. We didn't even know what to do. We're like, oh my God.
They pulled right over.
I pulled over too, behind them. And he's still toggling the switch. And at this point, we're like laughing. We're like little girls, and they're just laughing. And I'm like, oh my God, like, what do we do right now? And so we just sit there. Dude, my buddy was probably toggling the switch for like 2 or 3 minutes. And they don't do anything. And finally, this dude, scary looking dude, just looks out of his window back at us, because he could probably see inside of our car.
Right.
Okay.
And
So
he's
we're like,
figuring out that he's been
we're
duped.
like, oh shit. So like, again, as fast as a beat up Toyota Corolla could go, I'm like, Like that's just like, just very obvious, like staring at him as we go by, like, oh shit, like keep your head down, right? Dude. Well, he starts following us.
Oh,
like
no.
very aggressively. And he has very, very dark tinted windows. So we're like, oh my God, this is terrible. Guess how long we tried to get away from this dude? I mean, seriously. It went from like, oh shit, he's following us, laughing, to like, he's been following us like this for 20 minutes.
Right. We're gonna
like,
run out of gas.
He's like all in on getting us right now.
Wow.
And he can clearly tell we're high schoolers, and all my buddies in the back are like looking like, fuck, he's still there. He's still there. And you know, we're not driving recklessly, but you know, to the point where I got a little bit worried when I saw him like go up on a curb to like get around a car. So now I called my dad. Okay, I called my dad. I'm like, Dad.
While you're being tailed?
Yeah. I'm like, Dad, I messed up, dude. And of course, like, he's like, what'd you do? Of course, there's no way in any world he's thinking that his son and his 3 friends just fake pulled somebody over on the side of the road right outside their neighborhood, and now they're being chased. Okay, so you can imagine, like, he's just losing his shit on me. It's like, what are you doing? You know it's bad too when you hear him just go, like, he says, damn it, and then he says your mom's name. You're not even talking to him, and he's just like, damn it, Terry. Like, he starts yelling. He's like, come listen to this. So he's like, well, what are we going to do? So he's like, all right, we're going to pull into the neighborhood, whatever. And he's like, I'll be outside. Well, dude, like the dude followed us in there, and you know, my dad just kind of like shoot him off or whatever. But I thought some shit was going to go down, dude. Like,
yeah,
I'll never do that again.
Yeah.
It was terrible, dude. I mean, my friends, when we got out of the car, nobody talked. Nobody said what's up to my mom and dad. I didn't say anything to them. I just walked inside. I went right downstairs. We didn't even say anything to each other. Everyone just walked to their cars, and we just went home because we knew if we even tried to say something like what my dad was probably going to say to us would have been way worse than whatever the dude that we pulled over was. Because it's just like, my dad was always like, how could you guys just be so stupid? You know what I mean? Like, what are you thinking?
I feel like you were a lot of trouble when you were younger. And again, I say, because you've got a kid on the way, that you better remember all the shit that you did and show some leniency.
But dude, you know what? I never got an underage. I've never gotten any sort of ticket outside of a speeding ticket. You know what I mean? Like,
by the way, do you guys know the gender?
No, I think we're going to do it. I think we're going to find out.
Like you want to know ahead of time. And
yeah. We were kind of back and forth, and I'm like, and then we kind of were just like, well, if we find out in 9 months or what, you know, in May, or if we find out now, does it really change it? Right? Like, it's still, we get to find out now, or I can see the surprise. I can see why people do it. You know, I'm not knocking it. I just think.
But if people are going to give you gifts, they got to know the gender. Like, what if?
Yeah.
Anyways.
No, at this point, people are like, you better pray for a girl. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, I don't know. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Like, I feel like, is it worse to raise a little boy or a little girl? I mean, I think I don't know how to go with that one.
I wasn't a bad kid. I just did things that I guess I just did things that I thought was innocent fun, that now as an adult, I'm like, holy hell. You know what I mean? Like, I wasn't doing them because I knew they were bad, which is it sounds like an excuse.
Yeah.
A lot of it really just came from, like, I wasn't a gamer, right? I spent a lot of my time like at sports practices and hanging out with my buddies, and we spent a ton of time outside in the summers. Like, we would just ride our bikes, and, you know, we'd go swimming. Like, we had a quarry where I grew up that like really was like an old school swimming, like a swimming hole. Like, I feel like I had a really fun outdoor, like, childhood and adolescent phase. Like, I wasn't a screen kid or an iPad kid, whatever they say, which therefore led me to get into a lot of those situations, you know, hanging on garage doors, hitting golf balls over the road, throwing snowballs at cars, stupid shit, you know?
Yeah.
You hanging in there, DA?
I am. I'm watching all the comments from the mothers and stuff that are talking about whether raising boys or girls are the worst. I can't stop looking. They're like, no, girls are much more difficult. Boys are easy. I get there's a lot of comments. Boys are easy. So yeah.
I'm okay with either. I feel like they would both be fun. Obviously, they're both gonna be like a lot of fun to have like your first kid, but or any kid. I don't know. I feel like they're each their own experience. I'm sure. You know, I do think that we're gonna end up with all of one or all of the other. I have a strong belief that we like whatever our first kid is what all of them are gonna be.
Yeah.
So
so how many kids are you planning on having? What do you mean all of them?
I don't know. Probably like 3 to 5, depending.
Yeah.
Maybe. I mean, probably end up being closer to 3, but like, I don't know. I grew up with 2 other siblings, but we have a lot of my cousins and I, like we've talked about that. We're like, dude, we gotta start having more kids as a family. Like we gotta go back to like having a big family. And I don't know, it just seems like it's kind of a random conversation, but I always think having a big family and go to those gatherings is the best. You know?
Yeah.
So.
Well, I wish I hope that it turns out great, and you need to let me know because I would love to do something for you guys when you get to that point. And anyways, but yeah, good thing you and I didn't hang out when we were. It's a good thing you and I weren't the same age and we didn't grow up together. We probably would have been in a lot more trouble. I'm thinking maybe
One of us might be dead.
Right. Did I say? Did I
go ahead?
Did I tell you about the time that I drove around in high school with all the beer bottles on the antenna? It's like we had these like I love to drink Miller.
Sure, that
I was
went
like,
over well.
Oh yeah, I was like 17, and some 20-something-year-old bought us a half rack of beer. And as I drank the first one, I thought it'd be fun. We're sitting in a parking lot just hanging out, and I drank the first one. I decided to turn the bottle upside down and slam it down on the antenna on the car. Because like this is back in the day when I bet you people I'm so old people probably don't even know what an antenna in a car is. But anyways, I had a big tall
I would
antenna,
hope so.
Right. So I slammed the bottle on and it popped the whole bottom of the bottle off and the whole beer bottle slid down to the hood of the car. And I was like, that was cool. So I drank another beer and I did the same thing and it popped the bottle. And I had a stack of like 15 beers on the car and then decided we're going for a drive.
Oh my God.
and I shit you not, I drove past a cop car with a stack of 15 Miller bottles all upside down, lined up on the antenna and did not get pulled over. Thank God. And I was a moron. Do not drink and drive. That shit's not funny. Don't drink and drive. I was a moron as a young boy. So it is what it is. But
hey, dude, all right, we could finish with this clip because this is what I feel like. This was probably you. This was you back in the day, I feel like.
Any attempt to restrict drinking and driving here is viewed by some as downright undemocratic.
It's kind of getting common is when a fella can't put in a hard day's work, put in 11, 12 hours a day, and then get in your truck and at least drink 1 or 2 beers.
They're making it laws where you can't drink when you want to. You have to wear a seatbelt when you're driving.
With a child in the front seat.
We're going to become this country. This country.
I mean, Christ. I
We
mean,
lived
dude,
in a
it was the
different age,
Wild
man.
West. It was the Wild West back then for some of you guys in the Hive. I mean,
Oh my
I
God.
feel like so let me ask
I can't
you this.
believe you found that picture of my mom from back in the day, though. That was crazy.
Yeah, that was your mom. Where's Detective Mowry? Don't let him know.
Oh my God.
You know,
wow.
But dude, like, so one of the common things you hear a lot of people. What?
So,
Oh.
somebody said my mom was killed by a drunk driver.
I'm
It just
sorry
fucking
to
got
hear
dark.
that.
It just got dark all of a sudden.
Sorry to hear that. I was about to change the subject.
Too late, man. I feel bad. We're making light of that situation. Yeah. Anyways.
No,
Shit.
it's terrible. I mean, obviously,
I
it's
got all
just stupid as hell.
serious.
But, I mean, it's not to say that you should do it. You were telling a story, but people in the Hive are adamant. Like I've seen like some of the older people that tune in. They are adamant that growing up in the 70s and 80s was just an elite level of like to be probably teens through young 20s, in the 70s and 80s. That would have been your era, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It is true. It is true.
I mean, why do you think it was so different?
I don't know. I don't know. I feel like I don't want to wax super long about this, but I grew up in an age where we didn't wear helmets on our bicycles, and we had things called big toys that we could climb on, where kids now fall off and break their arms. So now you don't have big toys. And I feel like at some point we got pussified in America, where it's like, you can't let little kids hurt themselves, and make sure your helmet's on straight. And I'm not sure which one is the better. The age that I grew up in, where we would just go out and we would just break an arm or something every once in a while. And it was just like, well, you won't do that stupid shit again next time, will you? Or is it better that everybody got protected and make sure you're wearing your helmet and you I don't know.
I mean, it's just I feel like I got kind of the back half of that, being born in the early 90s.
Yeah.
I didn't have a phone until I was in 8th grade, which I feel like is it's obviously much later than today, but like we still rode our bikes. I still had to call my buddies, parents' house and be like, hi, Mrs. So-and-so, like, can they come out and play? Like, I still had to do all that.
I did that when I was younger too. Yeah.
But dude, like everybody talks about that, like the 80s. I mean, and then you see concerts, you're just like, God, just if those concerts are a summary of the times, and I don't know, it just seems like people are adamant, like that's a hill that people will die on. It's like, no, growing up in the 70s and 80s, there was nothing better than it.
Yeah. Oh, I agree. It was a great time to live.
I mean, I'm kind of jealous.
It was awesome. It was awesome. Maybe I'm romanticizing it, but it was kind of awesome.
I mean, dude, do you think kids nowadays will even get to be my age or your age and think that about their childhood?
I wonder. Like, I don't know.
Oh, it was so awesome. We had VR robots.
Yeah.
Which that could go dark too. I mean, yeah, you get the point. But DA, nonetheless, this was fun, brother. I appreciate it. Have a good trip out to New York next week. I will talk to you in a couple of weeks. Everybody that was tuned in this evening, as you guys know, Monday nights, DA and I kind of just let it fly. We need this, right? We talk about a lot of dark shit, and it's not going to be for everybody, but I think it's good to have a balance of this type of stuff. And obviously then, the rest of the week, we talk a lot about the shit that we're going to dive into.
Sometime I'd like to know, Birdie, and from the people who are here in the audience too, like, I'd like to know, like, do you guys get upset when these shows are completely off the rail with absolutely no direction and we just bounce all over the place and tell stories? Or would you rather we stay on some kind of topic, or is it okay? Like, I'm curious how people feel about these nights, because sometimes we have no theme. Like, we started with the theme and it kind of, that was the same time last time. So maybe as you let me go over time, take some polls, ask some people what they think. Are they okay with this kind of like loose format where we just go all
people
over?
Are saying that it's the best, because
that's good.
And I think that I guess I don't see, all of your lives, because a lot of times I'll be streaming. But it's like, we have structure every other night.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? Or
I have a lot. My life is a lot of structure. I was anal as a kid, so I have a lot of structure in my life. This is where I get to let my hair down a little bit.
Yeah.
Don't go the anal route.
I don't know why you had to do that to me. You know what I mean?
I know. I mean,
I can't hide it either on my face. I can't.
The child, he's like, did you just?
Yeah. Oh, he said, I can't not. I don't smile. Then I end up like biting my lip, like, don't say it. Don't say it. And then you go, oh yeah, he's thinking it. And then it just makes.
Oh yeah. I totally see it on your face.
It's like I felt like a 5-year-old. I'm like, can I say penis on you too?
Can I follow up on that?
I have no idea.
All right. Well, I don't want to keep you. I know you probably want to do a close without me, so I'm going to say good night. Thank you, Birdie, for having me on your show again. And like I said, I will be in New York next week. For those, by the way, just as a plug for myself, those who are interested, I am going to New York for my first time ever to put boots on the ground on the Long Island serial killer case. I'm going to drive the Oak Beach area, the Gilgo Beach area where bodies were dumped. I'm going to actually talk to some attorneys. I may even be talking to somebody who actually gave an affidavit about meeting the serial killer when she was younger as a runaway. I have some crazy shit lined up. So if you're interested in that, follow my channel. I've got a Discord channel. It's called New York Trip Updates, and you can watch me give kind of like tweets on the fly in New York. So if you're interested in that, check that out. And thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to plug all that.
Absolutely, brother. Well, you have a good night. And yeah, I'm excited to see how New York goes, and then I'll talk to you in a couple weeks.
All right. Take it easy, man.
Yep. Cheers. See ya. Oh man, that was fun. And I always like, then hanging out for a couple of minutes afterwards. I genuinely I like DA a lot. I think those conversations are cool and they're fun. I think the way that him and I, just met through this streaming thing is good. Obviously, he's super smart and he's hilarious. I think it's a good match. But no, so I'm glad you guys feel that way. I think it's a little bit easier for the Hive to kind of go and bounce all around on that. I see why, if your channel's dedicated to one thing, why you don't do that. So I understand it, why he would ask that for sure. But I like being in the Hive where we could do whatever, whenever we want, baby. No rules here. No rules in the Hive. Other than don't troll, I guess. But yeah, it sometimes, you gotta, there's things that we talk about that are not a joking manner, but when you don't talk about them in a way that they could be socialized, it's important to understand that point goes over a lot of people's heads. That's why I don't know how people feel about this. I think memes and comedy is one of the best ways to wake people up to stuff. When you can joke about it because it's that ridiculous, or if you can make a meme about something because it's that asinine, like then you're talking about something that can get through to people. And when it kind of trends, a certain subject has a bunch of memes or has a bunch of jokes around it, that's how the people are awake to it. And I also think it's effective because you're learning stuff and you're waking up to stuff that typically is always a very serious thing. And there's a time and a place to be serious about it. But when you understand that what's our goal as the collective, well, we need to wake everybody up. We need to wake more people up. And that's again, that's one of the reasons why I started this channel, was to just have, to allow people to have a place to come here and hang out and say what they want. I want to tell a story real quick. So when I posted the quick cut video this morning, the first comment that I saw was, "I'm all for conspiracy theories, but Brian is guilty as sin." I didn't respond to it. I pinned the comment. And if that person's in here, I'm not putting anybody on blast because I'm making a point. I don't care if people say that on the video. I would be a huge hypocrite if somebody came into the comments and said Koberger's guilty as sin, and I just deleted it. And so I'm not going to do, I see people, they say that their comments disappear and stuff. I'm not deleting any comments in the chat. If they get auto moderated because of a certain word, or if you type in all caps, even for me on this side of the screen, like sometimes YouTube doesn't show them and I can see it on my phone in the chat that it was whatever moderation. So anyways, I pinned that comment and I saw people going back and forth in there. Well, the comment disappeared, and I saw that it disappeared because there's no pinned comment at the top of the video anymore. So I went back and I saw a different comment from this person. And they said, I had a different opinion and I was attacked. Okay. And I just thought to myself, no. You weren't attacked. Okay. This is what you have to understand. It wasn't your different opinion or you even saying that Brian Koberger is guilty of sin that got you attacked. And in a way, all I said was everybody has the freedom to express their opinion in the Hive, just as you did. And if you decide to say it and people push back against it, it's not attacking you. It's part of the discussion. And I just wanted to share that because I think it absolutely sums up what the bigger picture of this is. Like, if you're going to come in here and you're going to say that, that's fine. I'm not somebody that you guys know, if you've tuned in, you know what I'm saying. I don't care. You can say whatever you want. That doesn't mean that you can say whatever you want and I can't disagree with it or I can agree with it. Or, dude, I'm also not going to be somebody that, for the people that tune in, if somebody says something that I agree with, but there's somebody else that disagrees with it, and then they argue with that, or not argue, you guys know what I mean? They're having the discussion in the comments. dude, that is what this is for. Like I really want that to stay at the front of people's minds. So it's like, you can say that. I'm not going to delete it. But if people push back against it, that's not them attacking you. Right. Yes, you have to be prepared for others to comment too. Because I think that I don't, like, again, I'm not sure. I don't want to speak for anybody else. I think there's a lot of people that keep a very close eye on their comments. Like, I don't even have any blocked words for comments, you know, at all. So some people in your settings, you can, you know, hide words from showing up in your comments. Like, I don't even do that. So I don't know. I wanted to share that. And I'm not, again, calling that person out. It's just, that's like the ridiculous nature of the society that we have today. I said something that's different than what you're saying in the video, and people attack me. I'm like, no, you have the right to say that. Just understand, people have the right to respond to you. That's called being an adult. Not, you know what I'm saying? Like, would you say it in person? If we could start communicating on the internet to an extent of how we'd communicate in real life, it would, that's essentially what I'm going for. Right? So, yeah, of course, like, ugliness is totally different. And that goes for the people too, that even if like I didn't even have a chance to read through the comments because it was deleted and I only saw the second one. I trust everybody in here too. Like, you guys know, you know, like, obviously the same rules from this chat would apply to those comments, I guess, but I don't see all those comments like I will when they're rolling by my face. So it's like, obviously there's no threatening, no spamming, right? But other than that, yeah, you know, you got to understand that's life, everybody. That's life. And then what I also hope that accomplishes, not that I'm trying to have people feel bad about themselves, but it's like, let's all think, I shouldn't even say think before what you say, because obviously I just had DA on this channel and there wasn't much of that on either of us, but I don't know. It's just, if you're going to say something, you got to understand people might disagree with it. They disagree with you. That's just the reality of it. It's a back and forth. It's the discussion. So, Tony, appreciate that. Yeah, that's life. Thank you, Philly Special. I appreciate that. Yeah, hiding behind a screen. Yeah. So Tubular Wheat says, dang, I didn't even know channels could do that. Oh, yeah. You can hide words like trash or clickbait. You know, you could hide all those words. So if that person comments, that's why they don't show up. So, like, there could be a lot of, dude, there's a lot of people that use that feature. Okay. Think about news channels. Think about these big creators that are pushing a certain narrative. They just have to go add a very commonly used negative word. None of those comments are public. So it's just, I don't know if people saw that earlier, but that's what happened. I did not delete that. Well, that's good, Jody, that your mom still loves me even though I made her pee. That's funny. That was not on my Monday night bingo card, but here we are. Yeah. So, all right, Hive. I hope you all have a great rest of your night. Thank you all for tuning in. I will see you tomorrow evening at 7 Central. Cheers.
Birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life.